Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. Here tonight on Random Mania, it is time for a big doubleheader of tournament action for the start of round 4. I'm Demarin2, and I will be here commentating tonight with my partner, Will Cleosis.
Demarine, we finally got it done. We've been trying to get in the booth together for quite a long time now. The situation finally presents itself. Absolute pleasure to be here with you tonight for this doubleheader action. Pair of 3-0s on top, Sylverfyre versus Fuchsia Fantasy. On the bottom, a couple of 0-3s, Lord of the Synth and Rainbow Poogle. Let's start in the upper right-hand corner, Fuchsia Fantasy. I like to describe Fuchsia as take no prisoners, and he has done absolutely that. Not an easy climb already to 3-0 from Fuchsia Fantasy. He's faced Tyrannex. He's our tracker tonight. Great player. Split punched in the first round. And just recently for Zondo, he was able to beat 3 very, very difficult opponents to move to 3-0 for Fuchsia Fantasy. Take no prisoners. He's taking on Sylverfyre, Demarine.
Yeah, Sylverfyre is a player that I know well. Sylverfyre, of course, being the person who got me into the community. They've had a really strong run here in this tournament. Even with the minimal practice that they started off with, they put in a lot of work. They actually did have round 1 against Lord of the Synth, picking up the win there. Round 2, they moved on in their 1-0 match. Excuse me. Sorry, and they were able to beat Quicklit in a fairly long matchup as well. And then in round 3, they kept moving on, and they were able to beat Lord Fizzlebeef in a 1-minute matchup, winning 1 hour 50 minutes to 1 hour and 51 minutes. Both parties, they're running the standard Rainbow Mage with our Force Black Mage tonight, which is not surprising to see. On the other hand, we've got Lord of the Synth as our lower left racer at the start of the 0-3 match with Rainbow Poogle. Lord of the Synth, a racer from many different games, known from the Zelda 1 community, raced in the Link to the Past randomizer tournament. Really well known for their work in the Dragon Warrior community as well. Great racer. Haven't gotten a ton of traction yet here in this tournament, but they've definitely shown us some stuff, and I'm real excited to see what they can pull off tonight.
Rainbow Poogle back in the saddle. No shenanigans tonight from Poogle. Back to the tournament. She's at 0-3. Some of the toughest seeds. I've called a couple of her games. Bridge seeds, Kraken 2 seeds. Very difficult run for Poogle, but she's back in without the shenanigans, and she's looking to get her first win tonight. It's week 4 of the Swiss Rounds 2018 Final Fantasy Randomizer Tournament, and this is, I believe, the third and fourth match. I can't wait to see what happens, especially on the top with the Battle of Undefeateds. We're going to see who's going to punch their ticket to the bracket stage.
Yeah, and on the flip side of the coin, one of these two racers is going to end up in the Trystal Fight Club after Trystal's win to go to 3-1 this week. So, again, danger lurking around every corner. If you can't pick up the win now, a possible slide to 3-2 is in the cards.
Looks like we're going to be starting here just a few seconds, about 20 seconds. One forced party member here in the Swiss rounds. Black Mage, it looks like pretty similar party compositions otherwise, with a red mage, a fighter, and a white mage. And here we go, Demarine.
Yeah, we're running that industry standard, and we're going to start hitting the town. We've got Cure 3, Exit, and Wall at level 1 for white magic. A real good set there.
Poison,
fast.
Smoke, Bane, and Fast in the black magic level 1.
Some very exciting and useful spells for sure. Exit makes Ice Cave look a lot more viable early on, for one. What do you think about that black magic selection to start?
I like it. Rainbow Poogle went directly to the Bane spell, which is exactly what I would do.
Yeah, it's a really, really strong call. And Fast is, of course, going to be the endgame business, so it's good to see that out there.
Correct. Exit and Cure 3 right off the bat are red mage learnable in slots 1 and 3. And then A-Lit was in the locked original harm slot. I think our runners are going to be happy with that. And then the fourth spell, I forget what it was right now, but it was a better one, is also red wizard learnable. So a little bit of competition for the red mage and red wizard.
Yeah, Wall being that fourth spell that you were looking at, a real powerful endgame utility spell. Will cover for a lack of ribbons if the ribbons are hiding.
Chain armor available in the armor shop for the fighter and the red mage as well. Red mage can equip that chain armor. Very good early.
Yeah, it's definitely a good piece of starting armor just to sort of give yourself a little bit of absorb. But more exciting, if you look at there, is a 2,600 gold pro rings in Carnaria. Pro
Ooh.
rings giving really nice death protection, 8 absorb, all the way around. One of the nicest things to see at that price.
Yeah, anyone can equip them as well, so they're certainly very versatile as well. Couple of fights. It looks like most of our players are going to go ahead and use that Bane spell, the Poison Smoke spell. It attacks all the enemies, very effective, certainly especially early in the game. Still even effective really throughout the entire game. And grab a couple of levels, except for Fuchsia Fantasy. He's going to go ahead and he's going to jump off, taking no prisoners all the way to the Temple of Fiends already, and he finds a whole chunk of cash.
Yeah, whole chunk of cash, never going to go awry. But unrunnable creeps, not really what you want to start with. They could be fairly dangerous.
Fuchsia makes quick work of those creeps with the Poison Smoke. Sylverfyre, the other 3-0. Remember, Fuchsia Fantasy versus Sylverfyre, top of your screen. Battle of Undefeateds. They're both off already, both in the Temple of Fiends.
Yeah. Tough thing is here is you want to make sure you've got a Bane charge you want to have that one Bane charge handy to blow up Garland. That's gonna be really key.
Yeah, pretty effective versus Garland, yeah. 5,000 gold, so a whole bunch of gold in the beginning of the game. All our players have got to like to see that. We're talking the housing market, the cabin market, heal potion market, pure potion, probably maybe even a couple of soft potions on the side as well.
Absolutely. Got to get that economy rolling, and it's sometimes really hard to do.
Sylverfyre is through Garland. We've got the bottle from the Trusting King, and it is the canoe from Princess Sarah.
Pretty standard start here. Bottle's not terribly exciting, but the canoe will let us do the leftward loop to Elfland to get this party started as we get rolling. Syl now sitting on 22,000 gold. Can't go wrong with 22 grand. Gonna start buying pro rings. Definitely the right call.
As Lord of the Synth enters the Temple of Fiends, did Fuchsia Fantasy leave?
Yeah, Fuchsia I think ran out of Bane charges and had to come on home. Was not able to Bane Garland with the dearth of spells at that point. Those unrunnable creeps just drained out the resources. But also going to spend that cash now because they did get out with the money. So
Fuchsia Fantasy is able to get back to Canaria and load up and spend some of that money. So early advantage for Sylverfyre at this point in time, as Sylverfyre has Garland down. Sylverfyre's got the bottle, got the canoe, and I think Sylverfyre might be the first one to head west.
Yep, stocking up. The cabins are 71, which is okay, but not exceptional. We take those, though, when they show up. Heal potions at 8, super cheap. Pure and soft in the realm of normality, about 66 gold, a little high, and 426 a little low. But houses at 400, that's really exciting.
Oh, that is.
Houses are just great, too. Since they refill your magic, they really let you route more efficiently.
Rainbow Poogle is the first one to actually find the Dwarf Cave and head west. She digs up a pro ring straight out of a box. That's good to have early, and I thought to buy it for, was it 20,000?
No, just 2,600.
2,600.
It'll be very funny when Syl and Fuchsia get there because they've bought 4 pro rings. They have a full complement, so better safe, but still.
Sylverfyre begins their journey west now. Fuchsia Fantasy headed back towards the Temple of Fiends area. We'd certainly like to thank Tyrannex tonight, doing all our tracking, doing also very well in the tournament. Norestra Randomania for hosting our doubleheader on this evening. I think it's Thursday evening, if I remember correctly. So we can't wait to see what it is that happens here, especially with the Battle of 3-0s.
Yeah, it's always good to be working with Norestra. Definitely a great restreamer, great community person. Obviously, could not be better to work with Norestra again.
Fuchsia Fantasy takes out Garland now. He rescues Princess Sarah, picks up his bottle from the king, and his canoe from Princess Sarah.
Yeah, it looks like Poogle had made a dip over to the Dwarf Cave before killing off Garland, so a little bit behind on the pace right now, but doing all right.
That is something that she does fairly often. She likes to do that, especially in entrance shuffle and floor shuffle. And it looks like it's serving her just fine. She's just a little bit behind, I guess you could say. Not quite her opponent at this point, but Fuchsia Fantasy at this point in time. And she's got the Pro Ring, which she won't have to buy. It's going to save her a couple dollars. As Silverfyre has headed west and is now headed south in the intercontinent, I guess you could say, and headed toward the next destination, I would think, Elfland.
Yeah, had, spent a lot of the money that they had, so spells might be a little bit out of reach, level 4 spells for sure. But with the spell layout that they haven't done a ton of leveling yet, so we shall see how that works out.
Having exit, and I think all our players are going to have multiple light warriors with the exit option. I think we're definitely going to see some diverging paths coming up pretty quick, and I would think that might depend on that level 3 magic. If they get a good strong AoE, an Ice 3, a Lightning 3, perhaps a nuke. Let's see what it is from Silverfyre, and it is an Ice 3.
An excellent find. Ice 3 is the most powerful elemental spell in the game and actually does more damage than Fire 3 or Lit 3 base. The only spells better are Fade and Nuke. Speaking of
Fade, okay, the game has started to take shape here a little bit. Fade is in, I believe that was what slot was that? The second slot?
That was in slot 2. So
okay, so White Wizard, White Mage exclusive on that one, if I'm not mistaken.
You are not. That is still everybody running Rainbow Mages, so they will get one. They will get one Fader. Nuke at 4.
I believe all 4 of our players are now going to have multiple light warriors with Nuke at level 4. I would be satisfied. Fade at level 3, and multiple light warriors with Ice 3 and Exit at levels 2 and 1. Well, pretty good. Demerate, I like it.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the run at this point. Silverfyre first out of Elfland at this point, with Nuke and Fade, but not the levels to use them just yet. With Nuke and Fade at levels 3 and 4 respectively, how do you see this playing out at this point?
I think Fuchsia will go ahead and use that to his advantage many times over and over, and like I like to describe it, we'll take no prisoners. I don't see any type of a stopping and grinding scenario. I know he's not a fan of that. I know certainly I'm not either. And he's going to mow him down and use his charges, especially that all that money that was found earlier. The use of houses, I think, is going to be paramount here. And I think that's an underrated thing that players are using nowadays to go ahead and refill their charges, especially in a seed like this with the Ice 3, with the Nuke, with the Fade in there as well, to keep up your charges and mow down most everything on your way to get somewhere, except for fights that just aren't experience rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will be a good transition out of Bane strats as well. Bane has served them well, but good hard damage is where you want to be.
Mm-hmm. Silverfyre is the first to Crescent Lake. Fuchsia Fantasy right behind them. Silverfyre is going to check out the Circle of Sages, and we have... Ooh, here we go, Deveride. It is the floater.
We're going to see a lot of routing in a hurry here. Silver is going to hit that reset button, going to drop a cabin, and is going to start flying 11 minutes into this run.
Mm-hmm. Fuchsia Fantasy right behind Silverfyre now.
Not much going to be separating our 2 3-0 racers at this point. It's a good look so far. In the other matchup, by the way, we've got Lord-of-the-Synth making the hike over to Elfland. We've got Rainbow Poogle making the hike over to Elfland. So they're getting on with it now. A little bit of a tough start for both of them, but they're making good time at this point.
No sign of a vendor item yet that I've seen. I know there definitely wasn't one in Crescent Lake. So that could be something that pops up on rack, the Caravan, Gaia. Could be the rod, could be the loot, could be the crown. We're going to find out sometime soon because all 4 players are going to be in that airship really quick.
Absolutely. ETAP, thank you so much for letting us know that Cure 4 is in the level 6 shop. We have not seen any life spells yet, though. That could be interesting, Will.
Yeah, we got Melmond. That is level 5. Obviously, we checked, level 6 in Crescent Lake. If a life spell pops up in there, especially life 2, we're talking... yeah, let's go.
So the white magic shop at level 2 betrays me there. It's slot 4, level 2. We're gonna have the Paladin run. We're gonna have a knight with life 2 today.
A knight with life 2, a knight with exit. Lots of different options. And we're going to have a knight real quick as in unison, Sylverfyre and Fuchsia Fantasy fly over to Sarda in his beachfront cave, and he's got the tail.
Alright, so looks like Fuchsia's going to be making the dip over in a caravan because we have not seen the shop item yet. As Syl drops a encounter before going into Titan's Trove. Lord of the Synth with some money is going to be pretty pleased to see them nice high-powered sweepers ready for use. Again, just going to need some levels to make that work out.
Fuchsia Fantasy, he's headed to the Cardia Islands, going to raid that treasure. He's got exit. He's going to go ahead and utilize that to quickly dispatch this. I would certainly think class change as well. Meanwhile, both Rainbow Poogle and Lord of the Synth are finding out Nuke and Fade and all this other good stuff are available in Elfland. They got to be excited.
Yep, absolutely. They're going to start seeing those sweepers, and they're going to use them to good effect as soon as they've got the levels behind them. They're going to bane your way up to 5 in your Black Mage for Ice 3.
Demery, did you see Sylverfyre went to the Titan's Trove and took the Titan's food?
Well, I mean, when you need to save the world, you need to save the world.
Apparently, Sylverfyre takes the Titan's Trove ruby that was dinner for the Titan and just leaves. Oh.
A very, very bold play for sure. So Silver class changing. Last couple of chests here have only netted a Sun Sword to start this party. A very solid Night Sword, though, either way around.
I think we're going to see Fuchsia Fantasy grab these chests and start to make a move already. We're not even at the 15-minute mark. There's a ribbon font for Fuchsia Fantasy now. Colombium, if you don't mind getting out your little ribbon icon that I enjoy seeing so much. And I would think the next step might be Castle Ordeals, maybe?
There's a lot of options. Of course, Silver found a pack of Manticores and is trying to bane through them to get the pile of experience that they dole out. That's 1,000 experience points for a party at level 4. So that's going to shift them from not having Fade and Ice 3 to having Fade and Ice 3.
Fast at level 1, Bane at level 1, Fade at 3, Nuke at 4, Exits at 1. We've got a ribbon already. Yeah, gosh, the only missing component from these two top-tier players that we have on the top of our screen at 3 and 0 might just be an endgame weapon. A couple different options here. The Defense Sword, potentially an option. The Vorpal an option. Certainly the Masmone and the Adamant to get into the Excalibur, and they might be just ready to go.
Yeah, for Poogle and Synth, though, they high-five in Crescent Lake. They're both making solid time here, 15 minutes to Crescent, so... they're pacing pretty well. They're going to go ahead and get their floater stones in just a moment, which will be great. Max Plus Pi mentions that they do have the Sun Sword from Cardia. Yeah, Sun Sword is solid. I wouldn't call it spectacular. What do you think, Will? Sun Sword, yes or no?
Just not a fan. It's fantastic versus the Undead and Lich. I just don't personally classify it as an endgame weapon. I wouldn't trust it. I don't think I can depend on it personally.
Also, spell that we missed at level 2 in Black Magic, Lit 3, and Brack.
Rainbow Poogle's gonna be excited when she can get her airship and get up there. Speaking of airships, Lord of the Synth with a little bit of a lead right now. Actually, he's gonna go pick up his airship. Rainbow Poogle will be right behind it. They're both gonna hit the skies.
Spell after my own heart. Silverfyre picks up that first ribbon, starts off, and is immediately making the play on Ordeals. They already have the cube from Vicky the Pirate. So again, both races very tight. We've got a divergence from Rainbow Poogle, a play that I am a fan of. It looks like with that level 1 exit, she's going to go raid the armory floor in the volcano.
I like this play too. I do. She does not go and take the free things that everyone else did. She does not hit Provoca. She knows what she's got. She's got Brack, Bane, and Rainbow Poogle loves Brack and Bane. Believe me, she does. She's got Exit. She's going to go make a raid here. Maybe find something. Who knows? Maybe a Power Gauntlet. Perhaps an endgame weapon and utilize that to her advantage to maybe take a lead here.
A Light Axe is not a bad find there. So what does that do exactly for Rainbow Poogle at this point?
The Light Axe is a great weapon. It's actually better than a Silver Sword, equipable by the fighter for melee, but it also casts Harm 2 when used in battle. It's unlimited Harm 2 and can really attack and mow down groups of undead enemies, whether it's the Ice Cave and the Wraiths and the Eye Mages, as Shylazia would say, or Geists and Specters, that sort of thing. It gives another option to a non-AoE using member of your Light Warrior party for an AoE attack that can do some damage and take out a lot of enemies. So, if you combine that with a pretty decent melee weapon, underrated actually, nice pickup for Poogle there in Volcano.
The 3 Iguana and Giants are unrunnable, but that's just fine by her. Go ahead.
Both Fuchsia and Silverfyre have elected for the Castle Ordeals. That's what I figured how they would route it in. Silverfyre just a little bit ahead of Fuchsia at this point right now. Did Silverfyre pick up the ribbon that was in the Cardia Islands? I didn't quite see it. I'm not sure.
Yes, they did get that freebie ribbon, so they are ribboned up on their White Mage at this point.
LordoftheSynth in Provoca, looking to go ahead and pick up his cube from Vicky the Pirate and get level 2 magic as Rainbow Poogle finds the Mage Staff now. So another Fire 2 type AoE free attack for Poogle offensively.
Yeah, it's so useful to have those freebie sweepers against lower hit point enemies. The Perilous packs, the Medusa packs, even though Medusas are fairly magic resistant, Blackshirt will wipe them in one fell go. But Mage Staff great against the undead. Nice to see she's got the stocks for Ice Cave now, which always appreciated.
Rainbow Poogle makes her raid, immediately exits the volcano, satisfied with what she has, uses her menuing, equips the armor that she finds, immediately leaves. She heads to Provoca now.
I'm sure she'll be pleased to see Lit 2 and Brack waiting for her after she offs the pirates with whatever spell charge she's got on hand.
Speaking of pleased, Saturday, June 23rd, 9 p.m. Eastern, on our sister broadcast partner, Speed Gaming. It's you, Demarine 2 versus Demon Frog, a battle of 2-1s. I can't wait to be there. I'm going to try to get on the microphone for that. And that winner of that match, Demarine, was going to go ahead and punch their ticket and make sure that they are qualified for the play-in race over on Speed Gaming. That's Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
You are right on top of the schedule. You are... As always, you know what's going on. Trying not to make it about me, we've got 4 wonderful racers here right now. The far-flung future is for the future. Right now, we're watching some Mancats beat up on Fuchsia a little bit, while our Gargoyle's going down on Syl's side of the map as they both start deploying their sweepers to get their levels. Syl with a 1-level advantage right now. Basically nothing separating these 2 runners. LordoftheSynth also has a Ruby.
Raided the Ruby again. Titan's dinner. Oh.
God, Titan's gonna starve.
Rainbow Poogle finds her life 2 and directly to her Brack of level 2. So she's gotta be one happy Rainbow Poogle now.
Sorcerers are not fun. That is Squint on Sorcerers.
That's Squint?
The good news, however, is guess what pro rings do?
Yeah, I think they resist the instant death Squint option. So. Yeah,
I know that. LordoftheSynth doing the good thing. drops the ruby off with the Titan, feeds the Titan. A true friend of the wildlife. I appreciate that.
Game Boy F9, are you here? Is that an automatic win? LordoftheSynth. Is that what it? There it is. Okay, it's an automatic 3 wins apparently. We have reverse time. Okay, I knew that was coming. Let's see. LordoftheSynth heads over to Sarda now. LordoftheSynth is improving here, Cameron. The routing, the movement here. I haven't seen this from him before.
Yeah, no, very solid stuff so far. Making some good calls, picking up those free chests. Poogle deviating a little bit. Looks like she's going to go drop her bottle before heading over to the Isles.
Sylverfyre closing in on the end now of Castle Ordeals. This has been a little bit, is the crown. Sylverfyre picks up the crown, the incentivized item in Castle Ordeals. This dungeon has slowed down both Sylverfyre and Fuchsia Fantasy just a little bit.
A lot of it is because you want levels here. Both Fuchsia and Silver are known for making the early play here because you can sweep up a lot of good experience from Medusas, from Sorcerers, from the Zombie Dragon fights. You burn up your spell charges here and make sure that you've got everything that you need to get going.
Poogle's following suit. She's headed toward the Castle of Ordeals right now. I think this is the right play given the situation with all the spells and the incentivized item. LordoftheSynth headed into class change.
Yep, got the tail from Sarda after feeding the Titan, so got the class change. Forgets to cast Exit. A lot of what we'll see between these runners is a lot of these these very small optimizations that the more experienced runners hit pretty consistently that newer runners have a bit of a time of. It's always very interesting to sort of see those differentials come into play.
Fuchsia Fantasy picks up his crown, immediately exits, right on Sylverfyre's tail right now. Elected to exit immediately, not take a zombie dragon fight. They're neck and neck. I mean, this is exactly what we hoped for.
Oh yeah,
expected.
This has been a fantastic race for the first 23 minutes. Nothing to separate the two. LordoftheSynth and Poogle in about that same boat too. LordoftheSynth a little bit up on items, grabbed the tail, is raiding Cardia, so we'll have that first ribbon once they go to the lower forest isle. Rainbow Poogle going to use those sweepers, make a raid on the castle now.
So LordoftheSynth also does have his Sun Sword at this point in time, so a good, strong mid-game weapon. I guess that's how I would answer the Sun Sword question. Good mid-game weapon, questionable late game.
Absolutely, but it's going to bridge the gap there. 2 very powerful level 7 spells today. We've got Invis 2 for the White Wizard. We've got Temper for the Black Wizard.
Life 1 also available, it looked like, I believe, level 7?
Yeah. I mean, with Life 2 at 2, Life 1 at 7 is kind of a throwaway.
Right.
But Temper at 7 is going to make things a little tougher for these runners.
Fuchsia Fantasy is headed to the volcano now. Poogle's already been there, so we've seen a little bit of this. The Mage Staff is in here. The Light Axe is in here. As Sylverfyre heads to the ferry here in Gaia, picks up their Oxyale. So optionings open up now for Sylverfyre as these routes in our top match, the Battle of 3-0s, are starting to diverge.
Yep. Silver makes the dip into Oasis looking for the item here, does not find it. And with Oxyale in hand, are they going to do the double here? They're a little low level for Sea Shrine.
I've made this play before, the early Sea Shrine dive. I would think that the Waterfall would come first, maybe a couple more levels to make you feel more comfortable. But Sylverfyre's headed there, into that area, certainly as well. And welcome to the chat, Allie, checking up for a recap. We are at the 25-minute mark, and it's been a pretty good seed. Nukin level 4, Fade at level 3, but White Mage only. All 4 of our players had the same party. Exit was at level 1. Bane was at level 1. After Princess Sarah was rescued, she gave us the canoe. The Trusting King gave us the bottle. The Circle of Sages had the floater. Sarda had the tail. Vicky the Pirate held the cube. Castle Ordeals was the crown. I don't believe we've seen a vendor item yet. Is it an on-rack? or
we
Gaia?
are looking at Onrak, I believe. Gaia was checked by a couple of the racers already. Syl and Rainbow Poogle have both been there before, so they have not seen it there. So it's most likely an Onrak at this point, but we don't know what it is. In terms of other really high-powered spells, Fade at 3, White Wizard exclusive, Nuke at 4, Ice 3 at 3, Lit 2 and Brack at 2, Life 2, learnable by everybody at 2.
Question from Zardi in chat if the Vorpal sword has been found. It has not. The strongest and best sword that we have found so far was the Sun Sword. It was in the Cardia Islands. But if there was, I can certainly tell you that, Zardi, if there was a Vorpal finding, it certainly would have been in the notes and would have been in the review alongside the key items such as the cube and the crowd. The Game Changer would be right with it.
Yeah, in terms of what we found so far in terms of gear, we had some of the cheapest pro rings I've seen all tournament, 2,600 gold in Carnaria. Gold bracelets are going to be available for everybody fairly cheaply, 11,700 at 11,700 gold in Elfland. So everyone's going to be pretty well protected going into the late game, which is really good. But no endgame weapons. We've got the Sun Sword, we've got a Mage Staff, and a Light Axe available from the Armory, but that is it right now.
Argoyle slowing down Rainbow Poogle a little bit. Sylverfyre nearing the end of the waterfall now, is on the last south trek there. And I can only assume either the tail or the loot is going to be available from the robot here in the waterfall as Fuchsia Fantasy continues to dig the volcano, diverging paths from our 3-0 players right now.
Right. Fuchsia does leave behind the 5-chest trove in the back right now. It's a tough call. I like grabbing it. It feels pretty close by, but they're leaving the off-the-path chest right now. All they've got for their troubles right now is a Light Axe, so not a ton of stuff, skipping the Agama chests. Looks like the game plan is going to be go murder carry real quick here.
Question from Sforzondo in the chat room. Sforzondo, welcome to the stream. Always a pleasure to have you. Do we track the Trash Blade? Yes, it is. It is. I think it says Massa. It actually is on the tracker in there. M-A-S-A. It's kind of silvery looking, so that is on our tracker as well.
All right, and we have a rod coming out of the volcano as Fuchsia Fantasy is about to light the very first orb of this run, nuking carry into next week.
We're down to the ice cave and the vendor item for the loot and the tail, as the rod has been found by Sylverfyre, opening up more options for Sylverfyre and what it is that they can do.
Absolutely. It looks like, are they going to peel off for Onrak? I'm not sure. They probably should, knowing that the vendor item is likely to be there. Killin97 in chat, where nuked into next week is actually 2,000 years ago. It's a time loop. These things happen.
Fuchsia Fantasy now has taken out Carry, lit in the first orb here right around before the 30-minute mark. He's going to turn in his crown, do the crown quest perhaps.
All right, Rainbow Poogle in the process of wrapping up with some zombie dragons, wrapping up the castle of Ordeals while Lord of the Synth starts making his run on the castle. Killed some steak, looking for some wings now.
It is a Sea Shrine die for Sylverfyre. And you catch the levels on Sylverfyre?
I'll try and catch it quickly when they're done with equipment. They're at 13.
13? Okay, that's what I expected. Is this a Mermaids play, Demarine, or is this a let's go get our fiend?
They stop at the crossroads. I was unsure about this. I know that when we were talking routing, the one thing we didn't talk about was talking to the merfolk. So I am very interested to see if this pays off or not.
I've made this play ever since this happened as Fuchsia Fantasy picks up his Mystic Key now. There's been a shift in matches since this play came up originally, and it's been working out for the most part. It hasn't been blockbuster, but it mostly hasn't been a bust. So I like this play. I like it early. I especially like it if you're up against a player like Fuchsia Fantasy, because I'm telling you this, Fuchsia Fantasy is not going to the Mermaids. And if I were Sylverfyre, that's exactly what I would have done.
So far though, in Keylock to Elf for Fuchsia Fantasy, they have a Thor's Hammer for their White Mage, so they're going to be calling down the lightning in a little bit.
Lord of the Synth has made his way now to the castle.
While Poogle switches places and goes and cleans out the Sardia Isles. No tail and toe, though. Didn't stop at Sarda, so a little bit of a routing difference, so they're going to have to make a second trip back here in a little while.
Sylverfyre almost to the mermaids now. I believe it's 13 chests here. Encounter free. You want to make this move if you're going to make this move with the exit spell. Sylverfyre has that. Not going to be an issue. We'll see what Sylverfyre finds. Could be the only player here that hits up the ladies at this point. We're not exactly sure, but I like this play. I like it early. We'll see if it pays off for them.
Yep. You know, Poogle is known to make this dive as well, but that might not be in the cards at this point, but we shall see. Alright, Lord of the Synth getting some Zombles taken care of, and a nice experience pack.
Just past the 30-minute mark now. Fuchsia Fantasy has an orb lit. It is Carry and the Fire Orb. I believe that was ice armor for Sylverfyre so far. A couple bucks.
And in the keylock chests, the chat is going off right now. Fuchsia Fantasy has found the Mazamune.
I would, and the adamant? Is it the adamant?
Let's get all those big swords and a bridge.
Give him the game changer while you're at it. Why don't you?
He's got the game changer. He's got the game changer. He's got a pro cape and the bridge.
Okay. The raiding of the mermaids continues for Sylverfyre. Lots of money now.
Also found a white shirt in the slab chests in the back, so probably a nice defensive pickup with Invis 2 at level 7. Silver will be very pleased to have that on hand for the late game.
Yes, definitely. That could be a potential difference maker. Probably about, well, the way this seed is going, maybe about 40 minutes from now for Sylverfyre. However, Fuchsia Fantasy has dug out the adamant. Got the Mazmone. I can only think, let me check my watch for Fuchsia Fantasy. I think it might be that time.
Is it time to run at this point? Is it time to just skip everything?
Knowing what I know of Fuchsia Fantasy, I've played with Fuchsia Fantasy. I know the gentleman quite well. I've observed him many, many, many times. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and make his move now. He's got fast exit, everything that he needs at the 33-minute mark, I believe, for him to be satisfied.
And the big thing with all those swords in the crown chests is that they're fairly free if you make an early run on the crown, because you're going to want to make those moves. Tyrannex, thank you so much from chat, letting us know the slab is an on-rack for 8 grand. A sheer pittance for sure today.
A slab?
With 2 exclamation points.
2 exclamation points. Neatly spaced, I might add.
Pal and VM in chat mentioning, don't they still need the loot? Yes, they still need the loot. But who goes to Ice Cave?
Yeah, it's frozen. Who wants to do that? Lord of the Synth closing in now on his crown and Castle Ordeals. Made pretty quick work of Castle Ordeals.
Right, Rainbow Poogle is starting off their run into the Waterfall Cave. Going to use some sweepers on this Perilous pack. A decent experience pack, to be sure. It's going to be a really good start here.
Sylverfyre on their way to Kraken, the Fiend of the Water.
Right, running from some ghosts, which I don't blame them. Ghosts hit really, really hard.
We'd like to welcome Demarine's usual commentary partner, Wout, to the chat. I know you've been hanging out for a while. Always a pleasure to have you, Wout. Certainly always a pleasure to work with you. As Fuchsia Fantasy goes ahead and picks up his Oxiel now, I can only think that he'll head that way, pick up his slab eventually, translate that, and get a move on.
Absolutely. So we've got Rainbow Poogle making some headway through the waterfall, getting towards the tail end of the dungeon, picking up some good experience as she goes. Lord of the Synth is making their way out from his castle raid, their castle raid, and is bailing out. And they are heading to
Poogle tore through the waterfall. I blinked for a second and she zipped right through there. If you see what she's trying to do, what she was trying to do there was stand in the doorway hoping the robot would walk by. And she could potentially avoid this trap tile if she wanted to. She would certainly give her the option. Veteran move, experienced move from Rainbow Poogle. Didn't work out. Instead, she's going to nuke a whole bunch of mummies. Get some good experience out of this.
Yeah, my favorite experienced farming spot, to be sure. I really enjoy this play. The spike tile is great when you have sweepers. In a free chest along the road for our runners will be the Defense Sword in Sea Shrine. Yeah.
Does Fuchsia Fantasy get that? I would think so, based upon its placement.
It is in a 100% free location. I don't think you'll pass that chest up. It's right on the path. You don't have to deviate at all. In chat, Sorzondo asks, Will, when are we commentating together?
I kind of think of the old age-old question, when will then be now? And of course the answer is soon. God, Deborah, now you. I don't know. Deborah's giving you a run for your money there, for Zondo. An absolute pleasure to work with. So,
we have
spirits joining us in the chat. Speaking of which, tomorrow, June 22nd, we've got a whole bunch of matches lined up here for you on Randomania. It starts at noon with Bismarck and Zarby here on the Randomania family of networks. 6 p.m. This gentleman right here, High Spirits, Lord Fizzlebeef. Two incredible players, a battle of 2-1s, definitely a must-watch game. That's 6 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, right here on the Randomania family of networks.
Yeah, I absolutely see a bounce back match from Bismarck after their match last week. They are definitely a great runner and will definitely give us a show tomorrow. In the 1 and 2 bracket, that's losing out. That's tough times. All right, and we have Fuchsia Fantasy blowing up some wizard mummies as Sylverfyre rolls on up to the Kraken Orb. Well, here we go. The Great Equalizer may come into play here.
B-R-A-K. That's all you need. I mean, defensively, though, it looks like potentially. Potentially in using fast, Sylverfyre is to go ahead and take out Kraken, or take on Kraken, actually. 5 hits, 59 damage. A Bane coming up from Sylverfyre is ineffective. And Kraken has Sleep, and that's got to be annoying. Puts to sleep the Red Wizard.
Yeah, it looks like Sylverfyre is done with these strats. Sleep, though, does not kill your party members, which is great. Sylverfyre does not have Brack available, it looks like. Did not buy it.
It's Bane, okay.
Has nuke charges, though. It's going to fire the cannon. Going to take a fire, too, which is not a character getting melee to death immediately.
Nuke is pretty good. It's pretty good. It ain't Brack, but I like it.
All right, Lord of the Synth is going to get some swords in a moment as they get the Masamune from Northwest, and they are looping the rest of the way, so they'll get an Adamant for their troubles, too.
Why is Rainbow Poogle re-entering the waterfall?
Unsure. Did get the item out of the back, right?
I thought so. Chad, if you could help us out here, my apologies, I missed it. Is she re-grinding? We'll see if we can figure that out. Fuchsia Fantasy has entered the Sea Shrine now. I can only think that Fuchsia Fantasy is ready to go ahead and make his move toward Sylverfyre's Kraken right now, as down goes the Black Wizard against Kraken. Sylverfyre's on the ropes here a little bit with Kraken, not what they expected.
Out of gas in terms of mages, and they do have fast up on the Knight, but gonna need to land a critical hit here to pierce through that high absorb.
Sylverfyre gets a break with the dark spell here from Kraken, using heal pots now to go ahead and keep that Knight up. Lightning 2 from Kraken. It's got to be annoying now, knocking down Sylverfyre a little bit here.
Yep. Tyrannix noting that Lord of the Synth was the only player to miss the ribbon down in the Isles, and a crit for 173 drops the Octopus. we take those. We take those when they come.
Oh, look out. Now, to see that Silverfyre, this is a lesson here. Heal up and get back after you take on a fiend, because you might run into a whole group of jerks that critical hit and absolutely smash your party afterwards. Get a nuke off and take out these lobsters, light your water orb, and get out of here. Silverfyre plays it very well here and avoids a potential disaster after taking on a Kraken that gave them a pretty tough time.
Yeah, the Life 2 saving the day, raising the nuke charges back to accessibility, able to go ahead and nuke some lobsters because we hate them.
No, yeah, the lobsters, if they had a dog, the dog wouldn't like the lobsters. When your dog doesn't like you, you got a problem.
All right, it looks like Poogle is regrinding a little bit, trying to get up on experience, which do not blame her. Gotta get a little caught up here. I think she's only level 12 at the moment.
Level 16 for at least 2 of Silverfyre's light warriors. I believe the other 2 are a little bit lower. Fuchsia Fantasy's moving close now. I believe Fuchsia Fantasy picked up the defense sword along their way. Yes, he did. He's making his move toward the Kraken. Lord of the Synth raiding Canaria Castle and its key lock. Lord of the Synth has come a long way here. This is good. Leaps and bounds over his first few matches.
Absolutely, very solid, tight routing. Keeping up with Poogle in terms of routing for sure. Poogle getting her experience, finishing her raid of the waterfall. Looks like she's going back to south side right now with that rod in hand, and is going to stop and get her tail now.
43 minutes into this match now. We have not seen the ice cave. I can't blame our players. It is going to be required. The tail is not there. The tail's just been picked up by Rainbow Poogle. It is with Sarda. The loot is in the ice cave. I can only think that maybe they're waiting for a potential warp charge, something like that. Either way, they've got exit. I would think, given the equipment that we've seen, one ribbon so far, Mazmoon's out there, defense sword is out there. Just get in the ice cave, get the loot, and get out of there. Potentially in the future.
Yep, Warp is out of play. Warp is going to be a level 8 spell today. I did not see it anywhere. Silverfyre very quickly grabs a rub for the White Mage, so more protection from instant death, and is going to start the crown chain now. Mm-hmm. So they're behind on this compared to Fuchsia Fantasy, but they've got their slab translated and are out of Sea Shrine already, yes. So a very tight race.
Yeah, both Silverfyre and Rainbow Poogle just recently translating their slabs, preparing for not quite end game, but definitely later game, routing that in very, very well. Silverfyre onto the Crown Quest, Rainbow Poogle onto, is it Earth Cave?
Looks like Rainbow Poogle is gonna stop at Treasure Trove, Titan Trove first. We're gonna see if she does the right thing and drops that ruby off before she goes. Lord of the Synth is raiding the back chests on Armory Floor, a play you can make with exit for sure.
Brack from Fuchsia Fantasy, ineffective, but Kraken fires out that annoying sleep spell that he used against Silverfyre. The Mazmoon wielding Fuchsia Fantasy doing damage, 400 and a nuke for 100, takes out Kraken a lot faster than Silverfyre did. A little bit more prepared with that Mazmoon at this point in time. Does not have the Vorpal on top of that as well, but the Mazmoon getting the job done, Demarine.
The Mazmoon's going to more than get the job done there. That was a fasted crit for over 400 damage. The base damage and the bonus hit on the Mazmoon makes it the best sword in the game, hands down.
Rainbow Poogle, I believe, fed the Titan there. Oh. Silverfyre routes in, picking up the spells while doing the crown chase here. I like this. Fog 2 as an option for the night. You never know, you could certainly use that. Fuchsia Fantasy essentially right behind, translating his slab now, again, preparing towards that later, towards the end game.
Max plus Pi in the chat asked, where was the power bonk? I didn't see that. Have you?
I don't believe so. No, I've not seen the power gauntlet. That could be a potential missing piece. And based upon what we've seen so far, I don't know if there'll be a lot more chest checking done. So we might not see that in this four-way doubleheader matchup here tonight. Randomania nor Raestra. Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, my name is Will Cleosis. Demarine joining me for our maiden voyage together. Hopefully one of many that will get to work and certainly present on Randomania here for you Final Fantasy Randomizer fans.
It has been an absolute joy to work with you so far. Definitely a pleasure. Sylverfyre also along the way picks up those cheap gold bracelets that we were talking about earlier. So that is always a good pickup. Fuchsia Fantasy now going to start lighting orb number 3, making some excellent time trying to take advantage of that early Masamune to stretch this lead out that they've got a small lead working right now.
Sylverfyre and Rainbow Poogle both picking up their Mystic Keys now in unison. They're going to start their raid. Speaking of raiding, Lord of the Synth. Power Gauntlet, there it is. It was in the armory. Power Gauntlet was in the Volcano Armory, so Poogle probably has that. Lord of the Synth has just picked it up now.
So it was in Rear Armory, though, which is not some place that we are known to go all the time, so...
Is that a Will Bloodworth sighting in the chat room? Should we put a Will Bloodworth on the tracker, potentially? Maybe one of those little faces, you know? Welcome to the chat room. Someday, maybe we'll face off. Who knows? It would be definitely a battle of wills, I would think.
All right, and Sylverfyre picks up the big blade, the Masamune, and is
Fuchsia
now...
Fantasy gets absolutely wrecked down to one light warrior in the Earth Cave.
What blew up Fuchsia Fantasy there?
As Shrilazia would say, the Eye Mages. They had, was it Fire 3, I believe?
Ooh, not a fun find for sure. Ribbon will keep you going for that, but, you know, Ribbon in the levels that these runners have will keep you going through that, but boy, is that tough.
God, Demery, we talked earlier about who wants to go to Ice Cave, right? There you go. There you go. Eye Mages with Fire 3. Exactly why not to go there. Fuchsia Fantasy has gained that information. Gotta be happy he didn't go to Ice Cave early.
Excellent. Yes, absolutely. Who wants to go to Ice Cave early after I had to do it last week? Not me. But also, a couple of questions from chat. First, we have Wote asking, is still using some White Mage Masamune strats? The answer to that, yes. Masamune is on the White Mage. Xcal is on the Knight, I believe. Also a question in the chat. Kylan97 asks, I guess you in particular, one of many maiden voyages? Well, just so you're aware, Kylan, I'm a maiden, so, you know, every voyage with me is a maiden voyage.
I like it. That's good. Fuchsia Fantasy also still continuing on almost to the floor of Lich, gets away from a whole pack of 9 undead. Rainbow Poogle's doing her shopping for her newly promoted party. She has gone ahead and class change at this point in time. She's got her favorite sprites with the bunny ears, or the cat ears, excuse me, on the White Wizard.
The Final Fantasy III Devout Cat Hood, always a good look.
Eye Mages with Fire 3 against Fuchsia Fantasy decimates his party down to very, very low HP. He finds it again on this Lich floor, but he's prepared. He heals back up.
Level 18 is a good level to be seeing that spell getting fired off.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And good thing our Eye Mages again. Light Axe, Nuke, Fade. He's going to try to mow him down as soon as he can. Eye Mages get off Fire 3 again. They like using the spell, Demarine.
Yeah, leading off with it a lot. I mean, two Fire 3s could wipe the entire back end of the party. It's not to say that the Knight could not hero run the rest of the way, because we are about to hit Lich's door, but it's not what you want to see. Sylverfyre's on a restock run, trying to get their spells together, trying to do one last shopping trip so that they will be stocked for the remainder of the match. Lord of the Synth now seeing the lower side of the volcano, and so cleaning out a few of the chests down here and getting ready to drop in and say hi to Our Lady of Flame, Carrie, in a minute or two.
Was that Lich earlier? I don't know what happened to Lich. Lich is gone. The Earth Orb is lit. That's 3 orbs now for Fuchsia Fantasy, right at the 50-minute mark.
Making some spectacular time here. Sylverfyre about to go and probably go mode the volcano now, so we'll miss out on the backside Power Gauntlet, which is fine. Fuchsia Fantasy doing a shopping trip as well. That chest is pretty free. I know when we've talked about it, we've mentioned that Armory is still on the deck, and so they are going to stick to their game plan and pick up the chests out of the Armory as well. they'll find a mage staff for their troubles, but nothing terribly exciting.
Fuchsia Fantasy, I wouldn't blame him if he does Ice Cave absolutely last. Literally after everything, as the step before the Temple of Fiends are visited, based upon those annoying eye mages, I would certainly think it looks like that he might be making that move at this point.
Absolutely gonna go and make the run. Did translate their slab, so we're gonna be able to listen to these elves pretty well. That should be great.
Poogle's taking a long look at her menu.
She is trying to decide where she wants to go next, and it is going to be Ice Cave.
All right. No, she's going to save. Okay, we'll see what happens here with the potential eye mages. They love Fire 3. They have a high propensity to cast it. Can really do some damage to the party.
Oh, and I'm getting a correction from Washed Up 08 in chat. Thank you so much. The Power Gauntlet was actually in Keylock Temple of Fiends. I apologize for that, but thank you.
Thank you. Washed Up, thank you. I thought it was in the Armory. Thank you. That must have been some other match that I was calling.
Yep, it's not a 100% free check either. Like, a lot of runners do skip the back chests in TOF, so could be a potential game breaker for both of our races at this point if everyone else misses out on it.
Fuchsia Fantasy picks up his chime. He's free to enter the Mirage Tower now. He's got the cube in hand as well. The question is, I gotta think that he just makes his move here and continues on. I mean, we're looking at a potential 1 hour 4-orb lit here, right around the 1 hour mark if he goes ahead and blows through this.
Yeah, I mean, he'll still need to drop through ice, but with Exit, it's going to be a one dive. It'll be a quick one, without a doubt.
Poogle has found the Wraith and the Eye Mage encounter. She gets through it fairly quickly. She got good initiative. She's right around level, it looks like 13?
Just hit 13. She does not know that that undead pack is packing the heat, so we'll see how she handles it once she finds out that they are going to blow her up with impunity.
There it
here
is.
we go.
Fire 3 from the Eye Mages completely decimates Poogle's party. Another one. Down goes 3 Light Warriors. She's got the ribbon. She just resets. She's going to try it again.
On Silverfire's screen, that is Cremate Cerberus's.
Cerebrus bred the heat, and also with Cremate, a Fade takes him down. 2 Light Warriors still standing. Got life spells now. Didn't see that one coming at all. I didn't see that one coming at all.
No, I did not realize that they were packing heat too. So we've got a lot of fire coming out of this seed so far.
Vampires for Fuchsia Fantasy now. He's going to take this fight and get some good experience and levels here. Silverfyre continues the raid of the volcano.
Gets their hands on a Bane sword. Not a bad find.
Down goes the Fighter Knight for Rainbow Poogle. Squint from the Sorcerer. She's going to revive him real quick and continue on.
Yeah, it's still got a little ways to go yet, so we'll see how that goes. She moves the ribbon onto the White Mage, going with Protect the White Mage strats here, because wants to make sure that she can raise her party enough times.
Quickly gets away from an Eye Mage Wraith fight. She continues on as well.
Alright, and we've got Lord of the Synth staring down Carrie, one-on-one. Right, packing a Mazmune, packing a Power Bonk. You don't need to bonk for Carrie, come on. just... We may see a gigantic crit against Carrie in a few moments here.
Potentially. And that's the Mazmoon, a Power Bonk, potential fast, Temper, and a Partridge, and a Pear Tree Agamas have the crack skill.
We're
Silverfyre now. Down goes the Black Wizard.
We're not grinding those, everybody.
Time to go. Fuchsia Fantasy ripping through Mirage Tower and Sky Castle. 55-minute mark. That was about 3 minutes ago when he was in the desert entering there.
Single Wizard Vampire, 600 experience per each party member. Not a bad haul. Silverfyre sprints away from the Triple Bulls and is getting ready to also face down Carrie with Mossmune, Excal, Nukes and Fades, and Lions and Tigers and Bears.
Lord of the Synth, Lions and Tigers and Bears himself has lit the fire. Oh, I'm taking out Carrie as well. Silverfyre right behind, right there. Fuchsia Fantasy's going to go ahead and check the 4. I believe they call them greed chests here. Finds a Were Sword and an Opal Shield.
Yep. They are pretty free chests, all things considered, so it's a good stop. Carry vanishes pretty quickly from Silverfire's screen, a swing and a nuke, and let's get out of here.
Double nacho fight for Fuchsia Fantasy. Good fight to take. Good experience. You can usually get them down in one round. Apparently not this time though. Maybe. Nope, they got some HP.
Alright, so for routing purposes, Silverfyre is going into the ice cave. Has a few more levels, but again, we've got the undead pack in the flames, so we'll see how this rolls.
Tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Drumbordist and the Black Knight right here, the Randomania family of networks, as Fuchsia Fantasy enters the Bridge of Destiny chat. We know what your favorite is. We know what you love. You love that big tin can Warmack. If you want Warmack, get out your Bless RNGs, see if that could potentially happen for you. Right now, Fuchsia Fantasy is taking on some metal slimes, nukes them down for some pretty good experience, and maybe a Warmack sighting. Let's find out. Oh, there he is!
There he is! And it looks like gonna go for the kill here. With level 20, with all of these spells, you know, it's a good test to see how you're gonna be doing in the temple.
Fuchsia Fantasy ain't backing down from Warmack. He's gonna fire a nuke at him.
Throws up a wall. The red mage gets obliterated by the left-right robo punches.
Robo punch from Warmack takes the red wizard of Fuchsia Fantasy and knocks him halfway to Ashwaubenon. Fades now from Fuchsia Fantasy. Down goes Warmack. Warmack disassembled. 3 light warriors take 10,000 experience points. Fuchsia Fantasy's got to love to see that.
A fine prize, to be sure.
Health revival and on to Tiamat. Fuchsia Fantasy, is he going to use my favorite strategy, the poison smoke, maybe?
Are we going to see a little bit of attempt to bracket up here?
Potentially. Meanwhile, all 3 other players right now are in the ice cave. Rainbow Poogle by far the furthest along. She's very close to the end of it to go ahead and try and get that loot and use the exit spell.
Yep, Tiamat resists being turned to a statue for round 1. Gonna try again. Not here to stop on it.
Not much in treasure from what I can see in the ice cave. A nuke from Fuchsia Fantasy for 225. Fuchsia Fantasy fires Brack, but it's ineffective against Tiamat. Trying to light his 4th orb now. Fade from Fuchsia Fantasy. 8 hits from the knight, takes down Tiamat. He steps away from lighting his 4th orb. Under an hour, Demarine. 4 orbs lit. A very impressive run here from Fuchsia Fantasy.
Not quite done though, so let's not call it over yet. Still needs to tear apart the ice cave here, but level 22 on 3 characters is a pretty good look right now. Definitely a big lead. Yeah, you can list off anything in the game. Yeah, Fuchsia's got it at this point.
Rainbow Poogle picks up her loot from the ice cave now. She's the first one to get the loot, actually. I would use exit and get out of here with those Fire 3-Eye mages.
And looks over her spell list. Level 13 is a little low on the old level chart here, so she's gonna go and punch out some eyes. Was
that Dragon Armor? Dragon Armor find for Silverfyre in the ice cave. Now, I've studied Fuchsia Fantasy. I've talked about this as he gets ambushed by wizards. If that was Dragon Armor, and I think it was.
It was.
I don't think Fuchsia Fantasy is going to find that.
Do we have Fuchsia Fantasy bailing out here? Fuchsia Fantasy doesn't have warp. That chest is pretty free.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
That chest is. Yeah, that chest is en route 100%. So that is a basically free dragon armor.
Lower 6 chest area in the ice cave, in the area that is guarded by the Frost Wolves. Not a Frost Wolf guarded chest though. The Opal Bracelet has been located by Lord of the Synth now. Yeah, I think Silverfyre may have grabbed that as well. A good find, nice armor, high absorb for one of your mages. Keep them from getting whacked by Kraken down in Revisited for sure. Thunder from the Big Eye takes out 2 of Poogle's Light Warriors. That exit spell's looking real good right now. Yeah, I don't think she minds that. Rainbow Poogle likes two-man strategy. She's healing up. She's going to continue on. But that thunder, that scares me.
Fuchsia Fantasy took an ambush from those Eye Mages and is getting smoked right now.
Just completely obliterated down to one light war. Fuchsia Fantasy from the Eye Mages. Ice 2 as well. What else they got? Let's find out.
Every second I guess they're banking on their knight getting through this with the light axe and then raising their party, but it feels like every second they're wasting in this encounter is bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're not that deep in the ice cave. Take the reset.
Ice 2 again from the Eye Mage. Down under 200 health now against Fuchsia Fantasy. Second shot of light axe should thin this herd pretty well.
Yeah, this is a tough encounter. They're definitely going to cost a little bit of time.
Sylverfyre picks up their chime now.
All right,
they're going to be headed toward Mirage Tower.
Yep, and they're hopefully going to go mode it. It's they're down the 2 orbs and up a little bit of an advantage in Ice Cave, but they're making good time, but they are not making Fuchsia Fantasy time right now.
The Thunder doing the wreckage to Rainbow Poogle. She's picking up the pieces. Continues on to take on this up. She realizes the peril of her levels, I think, Demarine, and she wants to take out and try to catch back up level-wise.
Absolutely. With the ribbon and the opal gear on the knight, able to at least keep these 2 characters alive. Thunder's only hitting for about 40 to 50. Sylverfyre in the desert decides to pick up some steak and wings along the way, gets their white mage to level 18.
Fuchsia Fantasy is checking the chest. No access to warp. Good call on that, Demarine. You're definitely right. About to pick up his dragon armor. 1 hour, 2 minute mark. 1 hour, 3 minutes. 4 orbs lit for Fuchsia Fantasy. Just got to get the loot for the Temple of Fiends revisited.
Yeah, this has been an incredibly fast seed for Fuchsia Fantasy. Gonna probably bail immediately. We're probably going to see an hour 4 to an hour 5 start in Temple of Fiends Revisited, which is a very impressive time.
It's out of this world. It is, as I like to say, it's take no prisoners, and it's just downright impressive. And kudos to Fuchsia Fantasy for making it this far, battling the Eye Mages, excellent routing, picked up some good weapons, some good armor, very well played so far. However, it's time for the Temple of Fiends Revisited, where anything can happen.
Alright, Sylverfyre's in full go mode. Check to no chests on floor 1 is on their way to try and get up to Tiamat as fast as possible. We've got more eyes dying on Rainbow Poogle's side as they are really... She's definitely doing a good job of getting her catch-up levels here. Has the loot, has the Oxyal, has the key. Looks like all that she's going to need to do now is she's down to Orb Dungeons once she leaves here, so...
Mm-hmm. Got to be comfortable with that dragon armor. She's getting her levels as well. She's going to get to choose when she can leave and at what level it is that she's got her 2 main light warriors at. Once again, we'd like to thank Tyrannex. This is a tough job with the NPCs, the NPC shuffle, the shop items, and everything like that being our tracker tonight. Great job, Tyrannex. Get out there, give him a follow, say thank you. He's helping us all out tonight.
He's also a heck of a runner. He's in the 2-1 bracket in this tournament as well, and has definitely shown some stuff. Very solid runner of this randomizer as well, so definitely a good follow for sure. Alright, so just so everyone's aware right now, top 2 times in this tournament, we have 2 sub-115 runs. One was from Trystal in round 1, a very memorable match for me as I kind of found out what I was up against in this tournament. And we had a 114, I believe it was, from one of the edges. It was from Edgeworth, packing down a 114 in their match last week.
Less than an hour and 5 minutes into the match, right about the 1 hour 5 minute mark, Fuchsia Fantasy is closing in on the earth floor of the Temple of Fiends Revisited, and he's loaded. He's got spells, he's got weapons, he's got defenses. Doesn't have invisibility too. I think Ruzy's got as well, but I mean, he can't have it all. But he's certainly comfortable with the position that he's in right now. As Sylverfyre, a little bit behind, go moding the Sky Castle, 2 orbs behind.
Yeah, with Life 2 charges, things are looking pretty good for Fuchsia Fantasy. We do have some stun touch green Medusas, though. Usually a great experience pack, but their 9 and 10 hits definitely mean that stuns are going to get off, and in a hurry.
The Medusa's famous for landing 9, 10, 11 hits. Critical hit gets in there now. Now, Fuchsia Fantasy has 3 Light Warrior stun, but he gets off a Light 3 to thin this pack and probably take him out.
Yeah, Green Medusa's not known for hit points. Split Punch noting that in that race where the number 2 time was set, that the number 3 and 4 times were also set just above 120. Split Punch did win their race in a very close race last week in that seed as well.
Rainbow Poogle picks up her Masmo now. Or moves her Masmo around.
Yep,
and she's gonna feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, her Knight's now at 20, her White Mage at 20, so well protected the duo. Lord of the Synth is over in the river. Looks like they're going to finish up this side of the world by heading up into Waterfall Cave. They still will, and then they'll probably hit up Onrak right afterwards or grab their slab as well, so they'll be in good shape in terms of items there.
No respect from Fuchsia Fantasy against Lich 2. Lich 2
survives.
Fire 3.
Survives,
survives
and Fire 3's back. You don't see that every day.
So Lich 2 being annoying. Fuchsia Fantasy shrugs off Lich 2. Takes care of him, heals up. Now he's on the fire floor. 1 hour, 7-minute mark for Fuchsia Fantasy. Temple of Fiends revisited. Sylverfyre making their way on the Bridge of Destiny. If this was a hard reset situation, we could see another Warmech encounter potentially here.
This is not a great unrunnable pack, by the way. Red Giants and Agamas. Agamas having crack
Right.
could be a tide turner.
Mute from the Agamas as well, so they've got spells and skills. Level 20 for Sylverfyre now. Gets through the Bridge of Destiny, no type of Warmech, directly into the Tiamat fight.
Sylverfyre again showing that wildly good timing on the Bridge of Destiny, keeping their encounter rate low up there. I don't know how that works. It's got to be magic.
Fast from Sylverfyre now. Bane fires out against Tiamat. It's ineffective at this point.
Throwing up the A-Rub from the White Mage just to make sure something is not going to get through and randomly end the party without notice, which is a good call. Fades and nukes all around over there.
8 hits from the Knight. Another fade from Sylverfyre against Tiamat. A nuke blast from Sylverfyre against Tiamat. Tiamat's still fighting. Another nuke. 308. Down goes Tiamat. Steps away now. The third orb is lit for Sylverfyre now, as Fuchsia Fantasy slowing down a little bit here on the fire floor.
Yeah, those unrunnable Agamas are dangerous. They're mutating the party, so run is still in the cards, though, with the non-Red Giant party, so it's able to sneak away.
Carry 2 fight initiated for Fuchsia Fantasy now.
Right,
Lich
Lord of the Synth
was annoying, and Swirl right off the bat, the Swirl skill from Carry 2.
fairly hard-hitting non-elemental skill, so that's not the ideal thing. Lord of the Synth has got some Mud Golems and Waterfall, is going to start blowing them up in a moment. While it looks like Rainbow Poogle is on their restock run before the end of this game, so trying to get her gear set up and her items in tow to make sure that she can finish up her dives into the Warp Dungeons.
I think Carry 2 had like 300 hit points, went down very fast to Fuchsia Fantasy. We know Swirl is out of the pool now. We know Fire 3 is out of the pool. Whatever Warmech head is out of the pool. But it's time. Kraken 2. My nemesis, Poogle's nemesis. I don't know. How do you feel about Kraken 2, Dimmerin?
I have not had any problems with Kraken 2 yet, so obviously Kraken 2 is the easiest of... Oh god, no. Kraken can destroy you. I couldn't pull that off. I'm so sorry, everybody. Defensive measures are necessary. 8 hits will come out from Kraken on the regular. Kraken loves going low, loves killing your White Mage, but Life 2 on everybody is going to mitigate a lot of that.
Nuke, Defense Sword being used by Fuchsia Fantasy. The wall spells out there. Fuchsia's preparing for this matchup with Kraken 2. The Rod being picked up now in the Waterfall by Lord of the Synth. He's progressing very well. Fire 3 from Kraken 2, just little dents into Fuchsia Fantasy. But
right.
Look out if he's got something else. Could be big damage.
spends a very high level magic charge there, hitting the knight with Cure 4 just to make sure getting the kill on Kraken 2. A smart move for sure. Fire 3 is completely out of the pool as Kraken 2 decided to throw it, so...
1 hour, 10-minute mark now. Fuchsia Fantasy has entered the echo of the floating castle now. The home of Tiamat 2. Nearing the Chamber of Chaos.
Poogle's in Earth Cave Poogle and Silverfyre are both in Earth Cave right now. Silver to light their 4th orb, Rainbow Poogle to light her 1st orb and get the orb chain going. LordoftheSynth has 1 orb up and going right now. Still needs to translate their slab and drop it off, and still finish the other 3 orb dungeons right now. So fairly tight race between the 2 of them right now. Definitely a lot of fun to watch.
Yes, if Fuchsia Fantasy pulls this out, we're certainly going to stick with everybody here. But this Rainbow Poogle LordoftheSynth matchup is starting to shape up a little bit. I'm excited about this.
All right, we've got Tiamat 2 showing up to the party. Another dangerous meleeer for sure. Another one who likes to go low and hit for large numbers.
Wall and defense, same strategy with a fast from Fuchsia Fantasy now. Lightning 2's out of the pool. Not much damage against Fuchsia Fantasy from Tiamat 2.
Walls are up. Everyone's protected. Magic damage will be very low here. It's going to start opening fire pretty heavily.
Evasion could be in question here, Dimmerin.
Does have the defense sword up on the knight. Mages going down is not the end of the world here. Again, knight life 2 on everybody who can have it, and that's the entire party at level 2. So Black Mage is the only one who can't raise the dead at this point.
Fuchsia Fantasy on the attack now. Nukes, fades, another wall has been built. Here comes a Brack Hail Mary. Ineffective against Tiamat 2, but a fade is pretty effective for 314.
Let's just get those fast mouse immune swings out of the way for 900, please.
Tiamat 2 is toast.
We are at an hour 12.
Right around an hour 13, the Chaos fight will be initiated for Fuchsia Fantasy. Fuchsia Fantasy's opponent, Sylverfyre, is having a really good run here. Sylverfyre is about to light their 4th orb under 115. I've got to feel strong about this if I'm Sylverfyre, but Fuchsia Fantasy just tearing through this seed.
Fuchsia Fantasy is showing us why they are, he is definitely one of the favorites in this tournament. Absolute blistering pace. I don't know what's going to happen here with Chaos. Stun to start. Black Mage is going to take a knee for a moment.
Calm before the storm, perhaps. I don't know.
Gets up those defensive buffs, though. Gets the protection out on everybody. Double defense sword uses Blizzard coming out, but ramming into those walls. Only the White Mage unprotected at this point.
Sylverfyre entering the Temple of Fiends Revisited right around the 1 hour 13.5 mark.
A very solid time to be sure, but again, the competition's real strong at 3-0, so...
We've
All right,
seen
Black
Stun, Blizzard so far, 6 hits. Fuchsia Fantasy already digging into Chaos now.
Black Mage takes a hit. That's exactly what you want to see at this point in time. Your knight is all that matters. You got Stun Touch on Chaos.
The White Wizard has been stunned.
All right, we've got an 8-hit crit for 295. Chaos goes with fast. This could be dangerous down the road, but there might not be a down the road now.
The Masmoon swings. 7 hits for 200 damage. Ooh.
Has 1 temper charge and is going to burn it here. A good call for sure. An 8-hit crit for 240.
And a nuke for 258 behind that, but a big right hand knocks down the Red Wizard now.
All right, well, we're going to see it. We're going to see that there's some Cure 4 charges to be burnt. Going to try and keep the White Wizard alive. Does not crit. The Knight hits for 77. That's 6. Wow, the numbers.
679. A gigantic critical hit from the Masmoon wielding Vested and Tempered Knight takes down Chaos. Fuchsia Fantasy finishes in first place here with an official SRL time. 1 hour, 14 minutes, 41 seconds, Demery. Wow.
Yeah, an absolute blistering pace. Joins the sub 115 club with that run. Definitely shows off why they're now 4-0 in this tournament. They have punched their ticket to the brackets. They are the first person who is officially all the way in. GG to Fuchsia Fantasy, a very impressive showing today.
Yeah, and getting beat like this for anybody, I would be proud if I was playing Fuchsia and I got beat like this, especially if I had played the game that SylverFyre did. SylverFyre has nothing to be ashamed of. This is a great run. SylverFyre is in the Temple of Fiends on the Earth floor, sub 1 hour 16 minutes. I mean, This is on par with like the 5th or 6th best time we've seen all tournament.
Absolutely. Right on pace for an easy sub 125, easy personal best. A great run going on right now, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
So Fuchsia Fantasy now will move to 4-0. Punches his ticket essentially into the brackets. Gonna potentially continue the rampage that he's certainly been on. We're gonna go down to how many 4-0s is it?
It'll be 3 4-0s. We've got 2 other 3-0 matchups coming up, so this is first one in, but 3 people are assured to be in after this week.
Okay, I've had communication with Fuchsia Fantasy. I'm gonna take a quick break, and then Fuchsia is gonna go ahead and join her in the booth to certainly talk about this race. For the whole hour and 14 minutes that he ran it, and really showed us, I think, what a premier player can do, the type of damage, the type of skills in this flag set, and really this community of how you can really play this game at a top high tier level.
Yeah, and don't discount SylverFyre, definitely putting on a pretty solid clinic here as well. In the lower race right now, just to sort of get everyone caught up, we've got LordoftheSynth making their dip in for orb number 2. They are in Sea Shrine right now, trying to get away from some lobsters because we hate them very much. Rainbow Poogle on the other side is in Deep Earth Cave, one more floor before gonna go and say hi and bye to Lich very quickly, most likely, with this party.
Yeah, just get past those eye mages. Those are, I would think, the most dangerous enemy in this game. Dimmery, would you agree?
Yeah, we didn't see anything really out of the ordinary. We had like cremate Cerberuses, but they're not a really common thing. And crack Agamas were a little scary and messed up the dream of grind for some players. But Eyes with Thunder, but we already had the resist in place for that. The Fire 3 on the Undead pack there was probably the worst thing we've seen for sure.
Yeah. This seed in this game, as LordoftheSynth is taking on Kraken, it looks like, I think could have been potentially a lot different had that Ice Cave been required early with the Eye Mages and with the Thunder Eye. Had the floater been behind that eye chest, we could still be diving Ice Cave at this point in time, potentially. So I think our runners got definitely some fortune there and some good routing decisions not to go to that stinking Ice Cave and dive that late in the game when they had HP and level.
Absolutely. Sometimes that's all it takes, right? Big difference diving Ice Cave at level 9 and diving Ice Cave at level 16, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so LordoftheSynth is over there taking apart Kraken, hopefully. Kraken leads off with Sleep, which bounces off of 3 party members, but not going to get the fast off on the Knight here. This turn, carry goes down for SylverFyre, a volley of fire and swords, and no problems at all. That was a very paper carry.
SylverFyre takes out carry 2. SylverFyre is onto the water floor. Joining us here in the booth in the commentary, tonight's winner, moving to 4-0, Fuchsia Fantasy. Fuchsia Fantasy, GG's, and congratulations tonight, sir. Okay, Fuchsia, we can't quite hear you right now, so we'll give it just a moment here.
It's working now. I forgot to change the push to talk thing.
Fuchsia Fantasy, congratulations. Your opponent, SylverFyre, has played a wonderful game. SylverFyre is on Kraken 2 right now, right behind you, under the 1 hour, 20-minute mark. We're going to go ahead and stick with that right now for just a moment. Fire 3 from Kraken 2 now, as SylverFyre sets up the defenses. Fog 2 for the hard-hitting Kraken 2 at this point in time. And a big whack from the Mazmoon for 200, and the fast is off. So the first whack from the Mazmoon it was unfasted. The way that Fuchsia took out took out Kraken 2, well, down goes Kraken 2 just as Fuchsia Fantasy took out Kraken 2. Silverfyre has moved on to the air floor now, and the time at 2 battle is impending.
Of course.
Paper. More paper. There's more paper Kraken 2 than I remember.
Yeah, that was a pretty solid crit, but it wasn't like in the realm of like an 800 plus crit. It was a sub 500 crit. Of course, Fuchsia Fantasy, I think the push to talk error might have been the only mistake that you made all day. A very, very impressive run.
I did make some, minor mistakes, like going into, like, forgetting to pick up temper in Gaia and my multiple dips into Elfland. But, I mean, the Elfland dips were kind of forced by money.
Yeah, definitely
So-
gated by that for sure. But like in terms of like the big plays, like in terms of your selection of dungeons, your abilities, your early buy of pro rings, just having a good setup all the way around.
The early game was kind of messy because I had to go back to Canaria to reset because I only had one shot of Bane and I didn't want to risk Garland risking ineffective and having to reset all that.
LordoftheSynth attempting to pick up his chime has
no.
been loopa-loopa'd. It happens to the best of us. LordoftheSynth realizes his mistake, quickly resets. Gonna go translate back to Malmon, translate to Slab. Meanwhile, Silverfyre is through time at 2 and attacking, being attacked by vampires.
But gets away successfully and keeps all their resources in hand for Chaos. They're going to be really well equipped for it for about a 122 Chaos pull, which is a great fun. And we've got Rainbow Poogle racing through the volcano now, looking to light her second orb of this run, while Lord of the Synth goes to correct a small mistake and get this live translated.
Fuchsia Fantasy, congratulations, an absolute clinic. Very, very well done. If you could have done anything different, would you have, and what would it have been?
Well, I already mentioned some of the minor things. Maybe I would have just, chanced it with the one shot of Bane and just hoped that it connects. It's actually a pretty high likelihood that Bane would connect there. And that would have saved me, I don't know, maybe a minute and a half right there. And I already mentioned the dips into Elfland and Gaia that probably together constitute another minute. And that's kind of the level I'm playing at here is just I'm worried about minutes of time.
Is this... Would you consider this your best run that's been shown in the tournament as far as a match?
Well, it was the easiest run. The other ones ended with Topher wipes, or I made the hilarious decision to run a black belt.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Let's not talk about that one. Let's pretend that didn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
Take it down.
All right, so we've got Silverfyre getting the defenses rolling, getting the fast rolling on the Red Mage and the Knight right now. Saber's up on the Red Mage. Knight swinging with Mausoleum 6 for 261 to start us off. White Mage gets punched out real fast, not surprising there, before White Shirt charges can start getting off, but walls are up, so magic defenses are nice and high. Red Mage is going to start swinging for the fences in just a moment here, which will be great. Temper on the Knight, and here we go. Nukes and sword swings all around, and here comes the pain. No crit from the Masmune 124, 175 from that Red Mage with a Sun Sword. Nuke comes out, 175. Not rolling well to start this fight off, but swinging away for sure. Red Mage survives with 1 hit point. We've got another Nuke rolling 348, an excellent roll. We've got the stun missing on the Red Mage. 2 swings, gets another 400 damage in melee, swings in. We're looking at about another turn of this fight right now. Should not be long before Chaos drops now. 6 hits for 329, non-critical. The dice are not with Silverfyre in these crits, but Chaos is not very threatening. Ink does a whole lot of nothing. Sun Sword 170. Nuke drop 180. Black Mage gets punched down to their knees. 207 swing, no crits, but it's going to be enough. Silverfyre, GG. Definitely a solid run. 124.32 official SRL time. Very solid run. Tough break running into a hot hand today. 124 would be a very competitive time against most of this field. But at 3-0, probably not going to cut it.
Definitely a solid run, a good run, good running decisions. I didn't see any mistakes, nothing that I can think of off the top of my head. But Silverfyre ran into another buzzsaw in Fuchsia Fantasy. Fuchsia Fantasy as hot as they come right now. If I had to pick the hottest runners right now, it would certainly be Fuchsia Fantasy right at the top. Ishbin Maya at 3-0. He's as hot as can be. If he can take out and move to 4-0, we could see a potential matchup of, I think, the two hottest players at 4-0 potentially next week.
Yeah, that's always. It's just there are going to be some real interesting runs here. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So Fuchsia Fantasy 4-0. So brackets next, right? You know, one more match next week that doesn't have a ton of meaning, but you still looking forward to whoever you face off in your last match?
Oh, definitely. I want that 5-0.
Rainbow Poogle picks up her chime now, as Lord of the Synth has chosen to go to the Earth Cave. With our 3-0 matchup completed, Fuchsia Fantasy moves on to 4-0. We're going to try to get Sylverfyre in here to talk about the match as well. And Nora's working feverishly right now to potentially go ahead and bring up our two featured runners here of Lord of the Synth and Rainbow Poogle. And their matchup will potentially bring you that in the conclusion of that as well in a split screen for a one-on-one type of version.
Absolutely. So, anything else right now that you've got? I know we don't have a ton of questions, but if chat has anything for Fuchsia Fantasy right now, please lay it on us. But do you have anything to say right now about how this tournament's gone so far, or any takes at this point?
No, not really. I think it's been really nice how it's come out. A lot of players are doing better than I expected.
And of course, it sounds like joining us right now, we've got Sylverfyre popping into our chat now. GG, Silver. A good run for sure, absolutely. You know, again, talking about how you did run into definitely probably the hottest runner in this tournament in this round.
Yeah, 114 is tough to beat. 114 is a tough time to beat. I made a couple I knew going into this that you know, I wanted to stick to my game plan, which is to play a little bit more conservatively. I think I check a few more chests and respect the dangers of TOFR a little more than some of the other racers. And this seed did not reward that type of conservative play where I could handle more dangerous situations. There were no dangerous situations. At least that I saw.
I think Wilfliosis and I were talking about it, that the most dangerous things that we saw were crack on Agamas, which really slowed down the grind a lot for everybody if they wanted to grind Agamas. And then we saw the fire 3s on the images, so the undead being a bit of a pain. But outside of that...
Yeah, I mean, Life 2 is a perfectly valid healing spell, right?
Life 2 at level 2 is literally the best healing spell in the game by a wide margin. Everyone running Rainbow Mages means 3 characters have it, and that's real powerful.
Yeah, Life 2 is pretty good. Another thing that we discussed as well was both of you, Fuchsia and Sylverfyre, you both got to be pretty happy that the early Ice Cave wasn't required to go ahead and dive in, or else this game might have been quite different.
With Fade at 3 and Nuke at 4, I don't think it would have been that bad. Like, I probably would have popped over to the Peninsula of Power, got some Fade and Nuke charges. We already had Exit available, so it just would have been a matter of, you know, getting a handful of Fade and Nukes and running through. It would have been a pain with those Fire 3s, but with the Life 2s, I don't think it would have been a huge problem.
I was trying to remember, where was the ribbon again? I forgot where I found the ribbon. It was pretty early, I think.
Yeah, there was an early ribbon, but I think it was in, was it in Crown Chests or Cardia or something like that?
Early ribbon was in Cardia Isles. It was on the Single Forest Isle.
I mean, yeah, if I have that one ribbon, I'm not too worried about the images. They were kind of...
I mean, if we needed, so the question is if we needed floater, or if like floater was in ice, or if ice was required to get to floater. I think, and that would have been a little tricky, but I think the Life 2 would be enough to brute force through the Fire 3 damage.
Well, if I recall correctly, the Image Wraith formation had a high ambush rate, so it was just basically fire free right off the bat. You couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
Did it have a high ambush rate? I didn't
Yeah,
notice
they were
that, but I was like level 20 by the time I went in there. It's always the last
I was
place I
level
go.
22, and they still ambushed.
I guess I had slightly better luck than you, but I like got ambushed maybe once, and out of like 3 encounters or something.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, those things they took my knight down to like I don't know how many hit points, but it was, my level 22-ish knight was down to like 70 HP after they were done with their fire freeze and ice 2s.
I had an ice shield on my fighter, and as well as the ribbon, so like
Oh,
the
I
knight
had
wasn't
dragon.
really threatened.
I don't know.
Oh, I didn't. I
had a
had,
ribbon. I had a ribbon.
when I found the dragon armor in like an easily available chest, I was like, that's, I actually went and checked mermaids. Mermaids had, they were rich. They had tons of gold, and that's it.
Mermaids.
Did mermaids have the white shirt, I believe?
Oh, they did. They did have the white shirt, which I don't think I ever used because I prefer fog over Invis 2.
Rainbow Poogle, meanwhile, on her way to Tiamat, is looking for Warmac.
As she does, she wants it.
Rainbow Poogle had 2 orbs, looking for Warmac right now on her way to her 3rd. Lord of the Synth has 3 orbs lit. He's on his way. He's in the Mirage. Light his orb in this matchup.
Slimes have glare.
Damage
Slime-
poison.
No, that was not. That was stone
No?
poison and glare.
Glare?
Yeah, glare took out 2 light warriors here. Killed the warrior, killed the knight, killed the red mage. Black mage was already dead at that point. Rainbow Poogle, please don't chance this. Can we just please go kill? Please go kill the dragon.
3 of her light warriors and continues on, finds the sorcerers with Squint now on the Bridge of Destiny on the way to Tiamat. Pro Ring's helping her out there, and it looks like she might be giving up her Warmech search and headed off to Tiamat, and she is.
I think she's good. I'm gonna patch up the party real quickly before getting this party started for sure.
Speaking of Warmech, Fuchsia Fantasy, you made quick work of that tin can.
Oh yeah. I mean, I needed the levels, so of course I'm gonna fight it.
I didn't see it, but I also wasn't as hard up on levels at that point. That's a really good find if you're low level and you have the abilities to deal with it.
Rainbow
Yeah.
Poogle taking it on Tiamat right now, firing fades. I thought I saw a Bane in there. Poogle fires a Bane. Poison smoke! Down goes Tiamat in the first round. Rainbow Poogle makes quick work of Tiamat to light her 3rd orb.
Breathe deep and go away, dragon. But yeah, that was the big thing with the Warmech, is that it got you from 19 to 21 fuchsia, and that's a big break point with the Masamune. So it was, that was definitely going to be fueling your rundown through the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Well, my primary concern wasn't the massa swings, although I did get 24 in the end. What I was really interested in was those temper charges, because that could be the difference between tinking for 20 damage on Chaos and getting a pretty considerable roll of damage every round.
Yeah, I only had the 1 temper, but I also sabered up the red mage and fasted her, and the white mage cast wall, and so the red mage actually hang on at 1 hit point for half the chaos fight was doing like a good 150s ish with a sun sword and a stack of sabers.
Yeah, I had a saber on my red mage as well, but I never used it.
The Mudgalls and the Sorcerers devastating Lord of the Synth's party. He's down to his white whip.
Does he not have
No,
he's got some people?
It was lightning 3 blasts that were taking out this party. It was not instant death.
I thought I saw the Squint kill someone.
The Squint might have gotten somebody, but the Mud Golems with lightning 3 were not exactly the most pleasant thing to see either.
No, they were rough.
White Mage runs at 100 health, though, patches up the team and gets it going. Rainbow Poogle's going to start dipping for orb number 4, is now in Sea Shrine at 135. Is going to make the mermaid stop. It looks like did turn right, if I remember correctly.
Poogle's going to see the lady. She's going to pick up a whole bunch of money and that white shirt.
Right, while we've got a level 18 party on Lord of the Synth side, they set up at the orb of Tiamat, trying to light up orb number 4. Let's see if we're going to see some Brak strats or some Bonk strats. A little mix of the two, maybe?
Going defensive, it looks like Fog 2, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
A good attack. Fade. The black shirt. No nuke. No... Lord of the Synth trying to make a decision. Fade.
Fade and fast on the knight, so gonna go straightforward swings and damage here. Alright, well, sylverfyre, you're gonna drop to 3-1 at this point. You're gonna be part of the Trystal Fight Club in week 5. How do you feel about that right now? How do you fancy your chances next week?
Sylverfyre, we can't quite hear you if you're talking right now. We're wondering about your chances next week. How do you feel about it? That 3-1 group. We know it hasn't quite shaped up yet, but we do know that there's going to be some heavy hitters in that 3-1 group.
I believe we'll need to wait a couple of moments for Silver at this point, so we'll just have to wait. And so Rainbow Poogle gets her white shirt, re-equips her party. Lord of the Synth, hour 36 in, is flying to the temple.
Yeah, we're going to probably, I would think, talk with Lord of the Synth sometime soon. And I got to tell you this, leaps and bounds here. We're not talking 5 steps forward for Lord of the Synth with what we saw tonight. We're talking leaps, bounds, a hot air balloon ride, a jet seed, from Australia to New Zealand, I guess you could say, of an improvement for Lord of the Synth here. It's showing me a lot, and it's definitely done a lot of practice. I know Lord of the Synth has watched a lot of these matches, certainly learned a lot, and improved very, very fast.
Yep, and, coming into Temple of Fiends Revisited at an hour and 37 and change is... definitely nothing to cough at, considering how a couple of those early runs went. A lot of improvement here. Very ready to go.
What is Poogle doing with these mermaids? She keeps casting exit.
She has exited out. She's saved outside, and she's turning the corner to go back to the left side. And Lord of the Synth is in Temple of Fiends Revisited, finds some Frost Dragons and bails out immediately, probably very smart at this point, and starts making the long dive down.
1 hour and 38-minute mark. Entrance of Temple of Fiends Revisited for Lord of the Synth. Lots of encounters here in the beginning. More Frost Dragons. Lord of the Synth is going to make his move. He's not interested in taking any of these fights. Going to make a dive and see what it is that happens here. That being said, we'd like to remind you in a couple days' time, Tuesday, June 26th, starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. A battle of 2-1s. Edgeworth versus Will Cleosis. That's going to be over on Speed Gaming and the Speed Gaming family of networks. That's going to be a barn burner. Following that, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, a battle of undefeateds. We talked about him earlier. Ishpin Maya, hot as can be right now. 3-0. Salty Fry, 3-0. Can't wait. I'm going to be obviously a big part of that. 6 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, June 26th, over on Speed Gaming, our sister network broadcast partner. Don't miss it.
I'm definitely hoping that Will Cleosis character has another big upset in his back pocket for that day. That's going to be a real strong race. And then right afterwards, definitely don't miss either of those runs without a doubt.
No, I've talked with Will Cleosis, a good-looking guy, by the way. He has a couple tricks that he was unable to execute last time in his big matchup against Trystal MTG. We'll see if he's going to go ahead and pull those out. But I don't think it's any question that Will has an uphill battle again against Edgeworth, a premier elite player of Final Fantasy, of video games really in general, and certainly Final Fantasy Randomizer.
Yeah, and an interesting statistic for Maya, by the way. Maya is one of the runners who has won all 3 of their races where their opponent A has not forfeited, and B won all 3 of their races by more than 10 minutes each.
Ishbin Maya, I studied Ishbin Maya, obviously, and employed many, many different strategies. He re-rolled his party against me. He rushed against me to make sure that he could get to the Temple of Fiends first, and ultimately certainly took me out. And the adaptation that Ishbin Maya has shown has been absolutely outstanding in knowing the game, execution, routing, and adapting to the given situation. Spell charges, enemies, everything. It has made Ishbin Maya as hot, in my opinion, as Fuchsia Fantasy. Can't wait for that matchup in that's 8 p.m. on Tuesday, Ishbin Maya versus Salty Fry.
Absolutely. So we've got these stun touch green Medusas just bouncing Lord of the Synth's party back and forth among them. This is as always slow and painful to watch. But when you don't know that they've got stun touch with those 9 and 10 hits, you're not going to think to go and say, all right, let me blow a nuke charge, let me blow an ice 3 charge here.
Yeah, do you want to do that? Down goes the knight. Lord of the Synth is stun lock now. Fuchsia Fantasy saw this, but he was able to get out of it.
Lord of the Synth is not going to have much of a choice here. Next time he sees green Medusas, because that's a run. That is not a please try and cast a Hail Mary nuke, which
10
is
hits.
play.
10 hits. Green Medusas are really given to Lord of the Synth now. He takes a wipe here. It opens the door for Rainbow Poogle. Rainbow Poogle's about to take on Kraken to try and light her 4th orb.
Absolutely. It looks like sylverfyre has stepped out of the channel. Understandable. They probably have to turn in at this point. It is 11:45 in the evening on the East Coast right now, as we are getting down to it. Lord of the Synth takes a reset, dies to the green Medusas. That's a tough break for sure. Again, not knowing that they're there. Rainbow Poogle gets the defenses up against Kraken, throws out the Brack, and it misses. Kraken counters with Sleep, puts the Red Wizard and Black Wizard down for a nap. Continues to jam up those defenses. Second cast of Fog 2. Should be plenty of armor at this point in time. Defense Sword, that Knight is not going anywhere at this point. We're going to see a couple of Knight swings that will finish this fairly swiftly in a few moments.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so Lord of the Synth is going to have to play his lute again. A little bit of rock, a little bit of soul heading down.
Blizzard from Kraken puts a little dent into Rainbow Poogle. She fires Fade, gets a fast off now. Previously, her Black Wizard was asleep, couldn't get that off. Now she's got a fasted Knight.
Yeah, now she's in real good shape. Going to try and fire off a couple of Bracks, but the Knight's going to take all the glory before those can get off with the crit for 438. Kraken 2 down, Kraken 1 down, 4 orbs on the board for Rainbow Poogle. We're at 143. Rainbow Poogle also making some really big strides with these flags. I know that she's really notorious for being really good at a lot of the more interesting and complicated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she hasn't had a ton of fantastic runs on these flags yet, but at this point, she's, again, bounced back really well this week as well.
We had a session. Gosh, it was about 10 days ago. Myself was there, Meridian BC, one of our lead developers, Minochi85, one of our top tier players, and she beat all of us in an entrance and floor shuffle seed in under 2 hours and just absolutely thrashed us. So coming up in the future of Final Fantasy Randomizer, I'm going to tell you right now, Rainbow Poogle is going to make a lot of wins. She's going to cause a lot of trouble for a lot of people based upon her experience and her just natural gameplay ability in that environment, which is what she normally plays. That's what we normally play, as well as we test out new features. We've got the trap tile shuffle coming. That gray worm encounter and the armory of the volcano could be shuffled to something from the Hall of Giants. It could be shuffled to the gargoyles. It could be a lot of different things. Meanwhile, Lord of the Synth has hit the green Medusas again. He's got 2 of his light warriors paralyzed already.
Yeah, it was an ambush, so, light warriors on their knees immediately, but this time, queuing up the Fade to the nuke wants no part of this. Dead Medusas are the best Medusas, and gets out of this encounter, unscathed and only down a Fade charge for the troubles.
Burns up a Fade charge. I would feel comfortable with that, Demarine, at this point. To get out of that potential fight, I would think.
Considering that if you get stun locked, stun touch just railing through the party, you have to make that call. There's no doubt about it. Use up your resources on dangerous fights or unrunnables. Try and save as much gas as you can, but it looks like it'll be pretty melee-focused strategies, so, burning your spell charges, I'm 100% on board.
Rainbow Poogle gets through the Phantom. She's going to use her loot here. Continue on. She'll be one floor away from Lord of the Synth, who's on the Earth floor now, closing the gap.
So, welcoming back Fuchsia Fantasy one more time. As we get to the end of this race, Fuchsia, we're going to give the stage to these two great runners right now, but do you have anything else for us at this point?
Moo.
Moo from Fuchsia Fantasy. You can moo all it is that you want. You're 4-0. You're as hot as can be. You're poised to get deep into this tournament. Congratulations. Lord of the Synth makes quick work of Lich 2. He's moving forward now. On Carry 2 soon.
Yep, Rainbow Poogle
closing in on the Earth floor and Lich 2.
Not far behind, finds these dragon encounters and is dashing away as fast as her legs will take her. Gets a first strike on this party, so that's a guaranteed run. That's always nice to see, and starts in on the Earth floor. Carry 5 for 53. That's not real melee damage. That's barely melee damage.
One round and down goes Carry 2 for Lord of the Synth. He's got to feel comfortable. He's got to be liking his game so far as he hits the water floor.
A flurry of nukes and sword swings and, onto the water floor for sure. Rainbow Poogle runs aground of these green Medusas. We're having a lot of fun right now with those, but she burns off a Lit 3 charge, sweeps him up, bails out. Good call.
That's exactly how Fuchsia Fantasy went ahead and took out to get as well.
Yep. All right, Lord of the Synth now rolling up to Kraken 2. Again, good defensive options, good offensive options. Just make sure, if he can get them lined up before his mages start going down, he'll be in good shape.
Kraken 2 fight initiated for Lord of the Synth now. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time we've seen Lord of the Synth in action here and on stream getting this deep against Kraken 2.
No defensive options to start. Starts out with 2 Lit 3s, a fade, and a sword swing. Red Mage gets pummeled for 540. We'll see you next fight, friend.
Fire 3 from Kraken 2 now. Lord of the Synth absolutely must protect that White Wizard.
Yeah, swing 4 for 198, non-critical. We know Kraken's pretty paper here, but, that's still a dangerous game that you're playing, not getting your defensive options up when you don't know that yourself. Poogle drills Lich into the ground, again, stays dead. One's more sword swing. Goodbye, Kraken 2. We've got Calamari tonight. Brings back the Red Mage and moves on to Air Floor.
Calamari dinner for Lord of the Synth. Moving on now, the Echo of the Floating Castle. A couple of wizard vampires and a zombie dragon stands in the way of the fight between Lord of the Synth and Tiamat 2.
Spending some more spell charges here. I agree with that call. You can't spend it when you're dead, so burn them off.
Harm 4 usage. I think that's a really good idea. Poogle's taking on the Agamas here. They've got Mute. They've got Crack. They've got something else too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Poogle. The Mute does not hit the Black Wizard though. Ice 3 goes out, sends them packing. So she is making good progress to the fire floor. Another second round there takes out those Wizard Vampires. Lord of the Synth has to do a little bit of patching up here. Wizard Vampires notorious for hitting very hard and killing Black Mages.
Level 19 and 20 across the board for Lord of the Synth. I believe at level 19 on the Black Wizard.
Yeah, packing some good health at this point in time. Again, good defensive options. Fog 2 is a great spell. We've got Fast, we've got Mosmune, we've got Tiamat 2 on deck right now.
Poogle kept running into the unrunnables. She's had to slow down now a little bit on the fire floor. She's going to heal up. She's probably going to take out Carry 2 pretty quickly. If I'm not mistaken, Carry 2 had Swirl. We saw that, I believe, on Fuchsia Fantasy's game. That could be the only real danger for Poogle at this point.
Yeah, Black Mage at 218. Swirl, I don't know if it can roll quite high enough to get a one-shot kill, but we'll see, maybe. Again, no defensive options. Well, no, gets off the Fog 2. Defensive options are sparse. Goes with just the Fog 2. Lit 2 comes out from Tiamat. 110-96 to the Red Mage, the Red Wizard and Black Wizard. Other two characters pretty well protected with their dragon armor and ribbon, so nothing to worry about there. Starts lining up some spells here. Gets the fast rolling on the knight. Defends on the Red Wizard. Ink does a whole lot of nothing. So always happy to see that in the Kraken pool, the Tiamat pool.
Ooh. 4 hits and 15 damage from the Masmoon Knight. That's not a Vorpal swing right there. Also, Lord of the Synth was using the Light Axe against Tiamat 2. That's not going to work. Tiamat 2 is not undead. Lord of the Synth rethinking his strategy now, as a big hit from Tiamat knocks his Red Wizard down to 1 knee.
Yeah, but a big hit from the Mazamune on the backswing, 523, 8-hit critical. Goodbye, Dragons. Hello, short run to the stairs, and we'll be possibly pulling Chaos right around 152.
Lord of the Synth has made his way to the Chamber of Chaos now. Rainbow Poogle right behind. She's on the wall. And her nemesis, Kraken 2.
She's going to be glad to drop him fairly quickly, I believe, with this layout. Yep, we've got Lord of the Synth doing some prep, making sure everything is where it needs to be, all in one piece. Race coming down to the close. You know, he's got one more fight. He doesn't want to make a mistake here. He wants to make sure the gear's where it needs to be. All right, Rainbow Poogle starting off. Looks like minimal defensive options here. 1 Fog 2, trying to get the fast up on the knight to start the fight off. Fade out from the White Wizard for 214. Fire 3 comes out. Team pretty well protected, except for that Black Wizard taking the full brunt of it at $160.
Poogle's starting to attack now.
Lining up a Brack as well here.
Is that Expert?
That is Expert, in fact, trying to get some rolls going, but that doesn't do anything. It's ineffective. Nuke comes out for 350. X-Cal swing for 426. Thanks, Kraken 2, for showing up. That's about all you did today.
Poogle takes out her nemesis, Kraken 2. She's onto the wall. Onto the air. As Lord of the Synth is taking on Chaos. Fast and a Power Gauntlet is off against the Ultimate Fiend, along with the Fog 2 defensive spell. But Blizzard pops out from Chaos now, knocking Lord of the Synth down a little bit. Fog 2 isn't going to help you against that.
Yep, gets the physical defenses up. Rainbow Poogle not very happy to see this encounter. Glad to get out of there. Not exactly the member of the Wizard Vampire fan club, but sprints away. Again, just let's get out of there as fast as we can. We've got Power Bonk charges on Lord of the Synth side as that Knight gets buffed. White Wizard gets punched down to 35 health. Those Fog 2s keeping the White Wizard in good shape, as in not face down.
2 power bonks on the Knight for Lord of the Synth. He double casted fast, though, if I'm not mistaken. Fast is not stackable.
We're about to see some big numbers, though, we think here.
Go.
That's 6 for 570 to start. Cure 3, keep the White Wizard at least alive. Tiamat 2, throwing out some lightning. The defenses go up. Rainbow Poogle setting up for a good fight here. We've got a volley of nukes and sword swings coming out from Lord of the Synth. 102, one minimum nuke there. Not going to see the second nuke. Black Wizard down. Second sword swing for 570 again. Another big critical for 570. So we know that this Chaos is under base health as well. So just need to keep that Knight alive.
Zouda Fade charges. He lost the Cure 3 shot on the Black Wizard. A shot from 375 from the Knight, though. And Ice 3 for 60. Cure 4 gets off and fully heals the White Wizard, Demarine. Good call.
Definitely a strong call. Get that self-healing off, and now you've got the ability to keep your Knight in play. Getting a little bit locked up in the menus here as Poogle cuts down Tiamat. 126, though, needed a crit there. Chaos with the fast spell that we saw earlier. We've got a swing 2 for 2 with the Sun Sword. One miss from the White Wizard. But the Knight is primed to finish this fight in just a moment. Just swing away.
A big Masmoon wheel coming for potentially Lord of the Synth, and he looks like he might want to take this match now. There it is, the big swing from the Masmoon. 5 hits for 248. Down goes Chaos. Lord of the Synth has won this matchup.
A very tight match to be sure. GG to the Lord of Synth. Official time 1:54:38 is your official SRL time. On the other side, though, Rainbow Poogle looks like she's going to finish this one out trying to swing down the last few hit points of Tiamat 2. Still firing off racks, looking for, a little bit of everything here. And here comes one more swing, 7 for 180 with the X-Cal. Down goes Tiamat 2. Rainbow Poogle, we're looking for a pull at about 157 here on Chaos. Definitely having a solid run here. Gonna finish strong, it looks like, today.
Lord of the Synth is on his way. Going to take a quick minute. Going to join us in the booth here for a post-game interview. Meanwhile, Rainbow Poogle's going after Chaos right after she gets away from... Oh, a runnable Wizard Vampire, her nemesis. Oh.
There's a nuke charge. Like, she is not pulling any punches here.
Charter member and president of the We Dislike Wizard Vampire is Rainbow Poogle. I'm a member of Trenton GL. He's involved with that as well. Causes some trouble.
I'd hate to say this right now, but I'm going to admit this to everybody. After my Zardia match, I am the lead and only member of the Wizard Vampire fan club at this point.
Fan club. Slowed Zardia down. Great match. Demarine referencing her taking down in, what was it, 2.5, 3 second finish against Zardia?
The closest race of the tournament right now. One of the 2 3-second finishes in this tournament. That was a wild ride. When I went back and reviewed it, there was one part of the VOD I had to skip. I couldn't watch it. Rainbow Poogle pulling Chaos at 156.25. Out of Fog 2 charges, it looks like, across both of her spellcasters. So we're not going to see a lot of armoring here. Going to throw up some walls. Going to throw up some nuke. Going to get the defensive options mixed. Going to go with the offensive options over the defensive options here.
Blast them, Poogle.
A stun touch Chaos puts the Red Wizard on their knees, and at 45 health on top of that. We've got a fast cast coming out, so after the X-Cal swing, of course, 4 for 150. Wall on the Knight. Knight's well protected now. We've got fast on the Knight. We've got a defense sword charge on the Knight, so two layers of defensive evasion. No crits though from the X-Cal, 6 for 48. White Mage, 3 for 132 critical. Fast on the White Wizard. I love this. I am a fan of the Masamune on the White Wizard. Without a doubt, I ran that out against Crystal in round 1, and it's a joy to see.
Blizzard from Chaos doing some damage into Poogle now.
Yeah, blasting the Red Mage away, frozen to death. Black Wizard taking a knee, nearly frozen to death. No crit from the White Wizard, 5 for 12. Nuke comes out for $1.60. Not a lot of damage there. 5 for 5 from the Knight. We are definitely going to need some crits. And just to stop here, it sounds like we're being joined by Lord of the Synth. If you could just give us a second while we wrap up this Chaos fight, hopefully, that would be fantastic. But before we do that, congratulations on your win tonight.
Braxton Wango Poogle against Chaos is no good. The White Wizard attacks with the Mazmoon for 200. Chaos has cast fast on himself now, but she's got the defenses up on the Knight. This is the Knight show along with the White Wizard and the equipped Mazmoon.
Yep, gonna go ahead and swing for the fences here. Gonna go throwing out Lit 3 from the Black Wizard. Every little bit helps, 53 damage there. No crit there. We've got Lit 3 coming out. Black Wizard is gone. A 7, 173 crit on Chaos, so we're getting the damage up there. Come on, just a few more crits here.
Come on, Poogle, finish him off. Sweep the leg. The Knight attacks for 139 and 7 hits. Here comes the Mazmoon wielding White Wizard. The White Wizard's down. We're down to the Knight for Poogle now. She's under 100 health. 7 hits is no good against Chaos. Down goes Rainbow Poogle.
And Rainbow Poogle is going to go ahead and forfeit at this point in time. That is just hard to see. Stun touch Chaos, punching through the defenses. That's a pretty difficult ending there, but a great run otherwise, for sure. GG to Rainbow Poogle.
Poogle's going to go ahead and throw in the towel here. She's making progress. Got through Kraken 2 and Tiamat 2. He's been her nemesis the entire tournament. Step forward for sure. She almost had Chaos. I thought Chaos was going down. I was surprised Chaos didn't go down. at that point after all those hits from the White Wizard and the Mazmoon, but didn't work out. She had to certainly have been close. We'd like to turn our attention right now to Lord of the Synth. Lord of the Synth with your
Hello.
first win of the tournament.
Yes, indeed.
How does it feel?
Feels pretty good. I swore when realized I forgot to turn in the slab. I swore I'd lost it there. And then when I stun locked on the earth floor, but you know what? That was actually not a bad race for me. It is actually PB, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, don't worry, Lord of the Synth. We've all been looped. Sometimes it just doesn't quite happen on the stage. We've all done it, and don't let anyone ever say they haven't done it. I've forgotten the waterfall on the stage before. It all happens.
I have not made any major mistakes in a single race ever in this tournament so far. Okay, that's a lie. It's worth a try though. We literally have all done it, be it in practice or in a race. So don't feel bad. You were able to recover very well, bounced back very well, and cleaned up your orbs and finished strong. So GG to you.
We talked during your race, Lord of the Synth. I've watched all your matches. I've been studying obviously my opponents. That's what it is that I do to prepare to attempt to play them, and I've never seen such a quick and abrupt. I called it leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds from your first couple of matches.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%.
What has been your preparation? How did you make this happen so well and so fast?
I've been watching a lot of the races. I've been doing a seed or two every night, so I think I've run this probably like 20 seeds at this point, so... but basically, it's also paying attention to flags. Like my first few races, like I was just disorganized and running everywhere and anywhere. This time I was a little more targeted on. Okay, I'm going to defer doing volcano for the moment because I want to come back and do ice, and I don't feel I have enough spell charges. So I went and did ordeals instead, which gave me the crown and then the key and unlocked a bunch of items for me, including the mask.
Congratulations again, Lord of the Synth. Like I said, leaps and bounds, very impressive. You pick up your first win. Certainly, congratulations to you. And is Rainbow Poogle with us?
I think I heard Rainbow Poogle here.
I'm here.
GG, Rainbow Poogle. Tough break at the end there.
GG, my dude.
GG, Poogle.
Yeah. So Poogle, how did you feel about that seed? Let's step away from chaos. But how did you feel about the rest of that run tonight?
Aside from a couple things, honestly, that wasn't horrible.
You got past Kraken 2, your nemesis. The Wizard Vampire tried to get you at the end. You got past them, and you got past Tiamat too. It was definitely a good run. You ran low on spell charges towards the end there, and you were swinging that Mazmoon with the White Wizard. I'm surprised Chaos didn't go down. You had to have been within just a few hit points.
Probably.
Yeah, I didn't see all of your chaos fight, but I get the impression it was like really, really close.
Yeah, sometimes it's the difference between catching a crit and not, and that's kind of how that goes sometimes. It's always tough to see, and no one wants it to happen. But otherwise, some very good routing, a lot of good plays on your part. Definitely neck and neck between the two of you for a lot of the race. So it was real fun to watch.
Rainbow Poogle, were you trying to dig up Warmack again?
Well, always.
We noticed that, and then you ran into the Squint Sorcerers.
Lightning
Mudgold.
Squint this season.
Oh, those Mudgulls were awful.
Yeah, I should not have dived Waterfall when I dived Waterfall.
I got lucky.
I think I went in there like level 10, and then really shouldn't have.
Oh no, I came to it late, and those Mudgulls were still cleaning my clock, but I had lots of life 2 charges.
One thing that you did not see, Poogle, well, you saw it, but it didn't affect you quite as much. It definitely affected Lord of the Synth, and it almost got Fuchsia Fantasy. We all saw the Eye Mages Fire 3, their propensity to ambush, and they really like to use their spells. But the Green Medusas on the Earth floor had a stun lock. I think you or Poogle, your Black Wizard got stun locked, but you were able to lightning them down. It actually wiped Lord of the Synth. He got completely stun locked. It had to end up reset. Fuchsia had a little bit of problem with it as well. But those green Medusas, they can come out of nowhere, and you want to take that fight, but you just never know where it comes from. In this seed, it was obviously the green Medusas later in the game, and the eye mages earlier on that caused a lot of trouble. They were probably the most dangerous enemies in this game.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the eye mages bothered me quite so much because I deferred ice. I only had a couple of harm 4 charges and some ice and lit 3 charges. I'm like, I'm not comfortable doing this because in practice, I've wiped in there at level 10 or 11 any number of times.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I gotta stop diving places I really shouldn't dive at levels I really shouldn't be on them.
I mean, so my problem with this is, so I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, I probably could have gone into places a little earlier than I did because I felt actually kind of OP in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
This is probably the easiest Topher I've had in a while.
Poogle, you've had some tough seeds. I've called them. I've watched them all. I've had some tough ones. It's definitely getting easier, at least. But Chaos is certainly never easy. Kraken 2, whoever wants to fight that. We'd certainly like to thank Randomania for taking care of us tonight. Tyrannex on the tracking for a double feature lineup. Absolute bang-up job. Certainly helped me out a lot. And obviously Randomania, their family of networks, been so good to us here. Now entering the 4th week of the Swiss tournament for the 2018 Final Fantasy 1 randomizer. Lord of the Synth with a win tonight. Fuchsia Fantasy moves to 4-0. Congratulations.
Did you go down and check mermaids?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I hit go mode right before Sea Shrine, and I was worried because my mages were kind of squishy, but I just said gotta go for it. Otherwise, if I take the time to hunt down more armor, I'm gonna lose.
Did you find the power bonk?
I did, I believe.
Where?
Power Gauntlet was keylocked.
It was in Keylock Temple of Fiends on the high end, the backside chests, the double chest at the top.
Right, that is where it
right.
was.
Oh, okay.
I almost skipped those chests because there's only 3 of them, but I figured I had exit, so I wouldn't have to walk back out.
Oh, that's totally fair.
I mean, I would say that I would have skipped those with the Masamune and Excaliburs in hand. I would have been, I felt pretty good without it, but it's always a good pickup. It really does cement a lot of runs.
That was honest. Oh, go ahead.
I skipped them because I had white shirt, so I'm like, I don't really need anything else. Sorry about me, darn.
I'm pretty sure the Power Gauntlet made the difference for me. Because first thing I did when I got to Chaos was, I used it and suddenly my crits were doing a lot more damage.
Oh, that makes sense.
Thank you everybody for watching, and thank you for restreaming and tracking and commentating, and GG everyone.
All right, and of course, so thank you, Poogle. Thank you, Lord of the Synth. Thank you for a great race. Just to kind of give us the breakdown of tomorrow, Friday night, first and foremost, an afternoon feature at noon between Bismarck 189 and Zarbi 89 in the 1 and 2 bracket. 6 o'clock, High Spirits and Lord Fizzlebeef, 2 very high-speed runners. If ever you've seen High Spirits menu, it's a joy, but they're just great runners all in all. Looking at 7:30 or 8 o'clock for Drum Bortis versus Black Knight. 10 o'clock, Joker MB versus Tilo Tilo. Those last 2 matches in the 1 and 2 bracket as well. High Spirits and Lord Fizzlebeef are going to try and play their way into the tiebreaker match at 2 and 1. Of course...
That's all here on Randomania and their family of networks. Later on in the night, 6:30 p.m., I'm going to be there. I'll be on the microphone. I'm really excited for Zardia versus Len the Cat. The winner of this match, I believe, can move on and definitely get into that bracket stage. It's a battle of 1 and 2s of 2 players that are a lot better than 1 and 2. Right after that, also over on Speed Gaming, 8:30 p.m., in my opinion, it is the main event. It is X Ice Blue. We're going to move on. We're going to host him here real quick. We're going to take a look at what he's up to. He's going to battle Minoshi 85 in a battle of 3-0s in what I would call a complete knockdown dragout. That's 8:30 p.m. tomorrow Eastern Time.
Right. So that is the night, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. As always, a pleasure to call the match with you, Will. This was an absolute joy. I am Demarin too. Thank you so much. Any last words before we bail out, my friend?
An absolute pleasure working with you. I can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely. We'll definitely make this happen for sure. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night.